Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American Challenger League Season number 11, North American Qualifiers. My name is Jesse J. Chick. I'm going to be one of your casters tonight, joined by org owner Toasty. Toasty, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to get this debut going and see how these two teams do.
Yeah, your first time on the channel, your first time doing CL Quals, correct?
Yeah, this is my first time for sale.
Wonderful. We
So
also got Crater on the observations, and we're getting into the map right away. It's going to be a bit of a Canadian night. We're going to be taking a look at most of the Canadian teams that are inside the qualifiers. Starting with Psychopaths up against Echo Zulu. And as Crater fixes his settings, I mean, this is a team that you and I are both pretty familiar with. You played against this team, although a slightly different roster, a couple of times back in the Canadian Nationals regular season, right?
yeah, we played them once actually to get to LAN, and it was a different roster than what we have now. But I see some returning players such as Bozak and um, I forget the other one actually right now. I'm blanking on the other one, but Bozak for sure. Oh, and Storms actually.
There you
Sorry.
go.
So we're seeing these two players stick with this roster, the French roster, as we know. They put up a good performance against us at LAN, beating us. So it's going to be exciting to see what they can do here in CL Quals.
Couple of bands off the board. Capto Zofia is an interesting one. I don't think we've seen very many Zofia bands. I can't even think of the last time I saw Zofia band out. So interesting decision from Echo Zulu. Echo making more sense. However, just given their name, not what I would have predicted from them. The last band probably going to be like a Mira, maybe a Maestro, or even a Goyo. I could see. It'll be a Valkyrie though. That's also pretty fair on Consulate.
Yeah, Valkyrie's pretty common here. You know, there's a lot of trees you can throw it onto, or you can just pretty much throw it anywhere on the map, like even really far out to where the teams can't see it. So I think that's a pretty good band coming out.
Load into Consulate here, and to keep you guys updated, we've had a couple of days so far. This is the beginning of week 2, so we already have some standings. Neither of these teams, I believe, are ranked in the top 32, I believe, are listed with points. So both these teams looking to get some points on the board. You got to get, I think it's a top 64 that gets points. Top 64 or 32 collect points, and neither of these teams were able to last qualifier. Psychopaths for sure played. Echo Zulu, I'm not sure if they played any games, but either way, these are going to be probably teams that are hoping to do a little bit better this time around.
Yeah, for Psychopaths, I know they have a lot of experience in, Canadian nationals, but I don't think I've ever seen this roster in particular go for CL quals, but I know they're definitely pretty experienced, so I think they're going to give us a good showing here against Echo Zulu.
Going to be starting on lobby press room defense. That's a bit out of the ordinary. Not totally strange, but certainly not what we see commonly. Going to be probably more of an aggressive roster. You already see Kandama and Bozak on the French operators with the ACOG, so they can get pretty aggressive. Interested to see how Twist utilizes that pulse as well. Maybe play from down in the basement can be a pretty common strategy. And then you're obviously going to have some of those roamers up top as well. So you thinking spawn peaks? This roster's kind of speaking spawn peaks to me.
Yeah, I mean, I see a couple of ACOGs here with the dual rook, and here we go, they're punching windows, but sometimes, teams will just do that to scare off their opponents, but he's going to be sitting here and looking for the cams, and this is why I think the Velcam ban actually becomes really huge here, as, these ACOG operators like to get pretty aggressive on this map.
Already a little bit freaked out by who might be inside of the building. These attackers are taking it pretty slow, though. Echo Zulu, again, maybe one of those lower level teams that we don't really know a whole lot about right now. So if they're looking to get into this bomb site, maybe they need to take a little bit more time. That's not the worst thing in the world. They just got to be careful. You don't want to be the opening pick, certainly. It's the first game of the night, the first game of the week. So it's important, I think, to get that momentum swinging in your direction, especially mentally. It can really shake a team up. If you have a bad opening couple matches, then it totally derails the rest of your week.
Yeah, I like how they're playing pretty aggressive upstairs. They want to kind of start off on a good foot. They want to scare the opponents. And we see Kadama playing here on dock, just sitting in the connector area upstairs. And it's really scaring these attackers as they don't really know what to do against him. You see them just repelling on the windows, trying to get jackal tracks off while that pulse is feeding them information, I believe, from downstairs.
Already about a minute and a half wasted. We've got the first person
Ooh.
down. Kandama, really well done. We will take down Bisko. There's Bolo.Navi also off the board. Oh boy, Storm was able to hit that shot. And you've got a couple more roaming players. Bozak looking for this guy inside of the office. Bo Mamba's in here, and he's trying to find people through the smoke. Kandama does get his head blown off thanks to a shotgun. There's another engagement inside of the small bathroom. That's going to go again in the favor of Zulu, and they have another player going down, so this has all been a back and forth game. Bozak still contesting on this top floor. He's going to have to retreat, wisely backing off, knowing you've already done so much damage. Just another player down from Twist, and now you're just dealing with Bo Mamba up on that top floor. This has quickly spiraled into a disastrous situation for Echo Zulu. They've got at least some more uses of that Inox Model 3, but man, this is still going to be so tough to recover from.
Yeah, that was such a crazy round. For the most part, I couldn't really understand what was going on. There was just kills left and right, players rushing at each other through smoke and through all this chaos. But I guess it's going to be Psychopaths coming out on top with 3 players alive versus this one last Jackal. But I think the real reason why it's come down this close, as Bozak gets the final kill there onto the Jackal on Yellow Stairs. But as I was saying, I think it came so close, and it came down to Twist giving the team the information that they needed up there. Like I said, they were playing aggressive, and they were holding everything they needed to upstairs. They didn't really need to take the fight on the main floor. So I think that round really goes to Twist and how he gave the information to his other teammates on how to hold that upstairs.
And again, it is the beginning of the night, so if you notice any video issues, audio issues, do spam me in chat, and we'll be sure to read that and hopefully be able to fix things quickly for you. No issues yet, but I always just like to mention that beforehand because sometimes things go left unnoticed for a while. We should be good for now, though, and with that first successful defense on the main floor, they can go to either the 2 primary bomb sites that people like to start off, even in the base, or either on the basement or on that top floor with console office and meeting room. They're going to choose the latter of those 2 options, sticking upstairs. Storm 6 picking back over to the Pulse, so you're changing up who's playing that operator, but you're still thinking that information on that Nitro Cell. Very crucial to your defense. I don't think that's a bad decision at all. It's going to be interesting to me to see if Storms wants to play that really far downstairs. It kind of feels like he will.
Yeah, Storms I know is a really smart player. He's got really good aim too. So putting him on that pulse, he's able to get the information for his team, but him himself can also go and frag off of that. And I think that's what he's going to do here now as he goes down to Visa to drone hunt and set up his roam. Where they got the ACOGs too, so it looks like they're going to be trying to play plant denial from underneath here or from long range and not actually sit in CEO, as I think that's what they're thinking the attackers are going to be trying to do.
So again, you've got a pretty heavy roam presence from PKP. Maybe guessing that they can out-aim their opponents. Probably not a bad strategy here, given they are probably the favorites coming into this matchup. Storms with a very aggressive peak. Let's see if this pays off. Somebody's running right into his sight lines. Oh, just misses the shot, though. Bo Mamba loses about 40 HP, but will live to fight another day. Gonna be able to continue walking towards this building and try to seek some revenge.
Yeah, I think they look a lot more confident here. As you can see, Twist is actually just reinforcing about, 30 seconds into the round here. I think they've gained a lot of confidence from that first round, winning it pretty confidently and hitting all their shots. And you can see they're playing a little bit more aggressive here on the roam. They're kind of running around. They're not playing as static as you would see most teams, kind of playing exactly off their strategies. But it looks like they're trying to win by frags on this map.
It seems like both of these rounds so far, Echo Zulu have been pretty slow on their attacks. They haven't really just stormed into the building. These roamers on the top floor have been a huge challenge. This time around, it's been the bottom floor of the roamers that they haven't really done a great job of dealing with. They're not even really focused on them. They're just kind of looking at the top floor. It's paying off a little bit. We see Max taking a bit of damage. Twist finding Bo Mamba, though, that's going to be a big loss. And actually, he went for a run out there, so ballsy play by him will pay off. And there's really nobody to get that return frag. He's going to be able to run out for a long time and eventually use the C4 to make it back in the building. He was out for so long and he got away with that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Like I said, the aggressiveness coming out here from PKP, they're known for it. The French-Canadian players are usually known for being pretty crazy and they've got good aim. They're really smart. They know how to make plays like this. So look at this, another run out coming up from Maestro as he's not going to be getting the shots and Warzone's going to take him down with the pistol. It's hard to look up there while someone's repelling and you're down on the ground, but another ballsy play coming out here from the French Canadians as they look to take this round now. We're all tied up.
They're feeling pretty ballsy today, and it's like what you like to see. You can get some interesting moves. Not bringing the Habana here from Bizo means he's gonna have a really tough time opening things into Projector. Of course, he's gonna have to get up close and personal with it. And there could be somebody down that hallway watching the angle. It doesn't look like there is right now. You're still worried about C4s and stuff like that, though, so still a lot of risk to deal with that. Bozak, of course, peeking with the shotgun as well. He's got support from back behind him. Opened up a little bit farther to the right here. He's approaching on that attacking Thermite, but then Bizo gets his headshot off by Kendama. You've got one player still up. It's Warzone who's entered into the building. He's got to find 4 players or pick up his teammate, but with the Twitch so far away, and him being caught out by default cams. This is looking real bad for Warzone. 20 seconds on that clock as he walks up the spiral stairs. Storms is coming back up to help out his teammates. Kendama watching the angle. Bozak watching the angle in case he rotates back. This is pretty much unwinnable for the guys over on the attack. Echo Zulu probably going to have to give this one up. Walking to the sight lines now. Storm sees the gun. He'll just wait it out and eventually go down. Psychopaths take 2 in a row, putting themselves up 2-0.
Yeah, another crazy round coming out here from Psychopaths as we saw multiple jump outs. I think it was Twists running out, jumping outside and getting a kill and actually being able to just run around for a while and eventually making his way back into the garage. The aggressiveness here is crazy, but I like how they're playing it. You know, they're not, there's more than we see. There's more strategy than we see to this aggression. Like you could see one player holding the bottom of the stairs from upstairs while the other ones kind of hold angles on him from spiral. And I think it's really working out for them here against this team because it doesn't seem like, you know, they're there for the trades. They're not droning efficiently, and it's really biting them in the butt.
So Psychopaths, for those who don't know, did do better than any other French team inside of the Canada Nationals. We got a couple other squads that we'll probably try to take a look at tonight. Honor Esports and Nordic are 2 Canadian squads that have been doing pretty well in these qualifiers. Starting off with PKP, though, because they have been historically a little bit more dominant, right? You saw in the 2019 Canada Nationals, they made it to LAN, they beat Toasty at LAN, and then they ended up losing every game after that. Still quite impressive, though. I mean, being one of the top teams in the country is nothing to laugh at. So these guys are coming prepared. I believe they play like in a PC bang together. Like they have a couple PCs that they set up, so they're all sitting beside each other, assuming they got the same setup as they did in Canada Nationals, which can be quite a game changer when you're going into tough games like this one.
Yeah, I know the organization there really treats them well. They're a great Canadian organization over there at Psychopaths Gaming, so shout out to them. I think they're based in Montreal or something like that.
They are. Yeah.
But I know they support the players really well, so it wouldn't surprise me that, you know, they put them in a LAN environment because that's what, you know, they're putting their money into. They want these French players to go to the LANs and get the experience they need so they can play in these Challenger League or even, you know, eventually get to that Pro League level so, you know, they can get the experience they need.
A lot of resources there for the Quebec scene as well. Obviously, Canada Nationals is available to them, but DreamHack Montreal was a great opportunity where we saw a lot of those French-Canadian teams perform. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of reasons to support a French squad like this one. I think that's part of the reason why you see so many solely French teams coming out of Rainbow Six. Kendama with a really great bandit trick we just saw there. Being able to destroy one of those exothermic charges. Baiko should have one left. Yes, he does. But losing one is pretty huge here. Now you can only open up one side of these garages, and even then, I mean, this is going to be pretty risky for them if they don't secure that piano room.
Yeah, we see the bandit there getting the bandit trick, but he's not actually going to get it this time as they stack the Habanas and Thermites, a common trick that you can use to get rid of the bandit trick if he's playing that wall really aggressively. So now he's got to get pushed back to the back of White Van. I'm pretty sure they opened it so that he can't sit behind the van and watch the yellow stairs there, but I may be mistaken. If they have, then that's a really good play on the Zulu's part. See, as he can look into White Van, but he's actually going to get picked off by Max here, holding a really strong head glitch from the offices.
I love that angle. It's not something you see all too often, but really effective when you've got an Alda on the defense. They have thrown in a couple bits of utility, of course. You've opened up that wall, and that's a pretty big first step, but you got to get in and go for this plan. A minute 20 still on that clock, and these roamers on the top floor are really concerning to me. Bozak with the shotgun's going to be able to pick up one more frag inside of the public bathroom. This is what I'm talking about. When you're not dealing with these roamers up top, you're not really putting any pressure on them. They're going to constantly be able to harass you for the rest of the game. Maybe they'll play it a little bit too safe and won't come back in time, but that's probably not going to happen with a squad like PKP. They like to get aggressive, and so leaving them open is just asking for disaster. Still, though, they've got a couple players watching inside, though. Just past that minute mark, and Bo Mamba will walk on in. He doesn't have the diffuser. Goes down to Twist, who's, again, all the way up top. They don't have that piano control, and that's so crucial. At this point, it's far too late with 45 seconds on the clock. They need to commit to this and somehow win that gunfight up against the Vigil, who's 2 floors up. Twist almost invincible from that position, unless Warzone wants to just charge up those stairs. But he's got to go back and get that diffuser. It's really tough at this point as attackers to actually get on in, unless you just run right past that opening, I suppose. Max gets a double kill thanks to that Alda. And now you've left one player left alive in a 1-on-5 situation. He's got to get the ace clutch, Toasty. And still possible. I don't know about this, though.
He's got to walk through here, and he's actually going to be taken out by Bozak with that SMG-11, and it's a flawless round coming up from PKP. And I know we talk about aggressiveness and a lot, and it's kind of getting repetitive here, but PKP does such a good job of holding the top floor as, Zulu's putting all of their utility under that garage wall, and it kind of ruined the strategy they had. As you saw Twist with that insane angle all the way from CEO looking into garage, able to pick up any players trying to run towards white band. And that's just shows the experience of PKP, knowing how to hold the upstairs, knowing how to push the teams away until there's no more time left. And they were kind of screwed because, they couldn't get the plant down. They used all their utility and it didn't work out for them.
Surprised to me that Bolo's not doing more for this squad. I mean, probably one of the best players, especially young players we have in North America. Interesting that he's gone into this no-name squad as well as adopted the Na'Vi tag and still not finding success. He'll flex to the fuse though. Perhaps this is his calling.
Yeah, I think he's really been holding this one back. I don't think we've seen him play it in Pro League, so he really needs to bring it out here if he wants to make it to Challenger League.
Top
But
of
we'll
the
see what he
scoreboard,
can
though,
do.
for his team. Can we see that
Yeah,
again,
he's
Creator?
doing pretty good.
I don't know if we, maybe Creator's not listening to me. But that scoreboard didn't look too great for the moment I saw it. Obviously, you just followed off on a perfect round. Thank you very much. 3 kills across the board. Most of the players on PKP single-handedly have just as much, if not more, than that. So, clearly been a bit of a lopsided start to things. You do say with lower-level teams, though, that typically the defense is a little bit stronger than the attack, though, because it can be a little bit tougher to get your attacks in order. So, perhaps when that side swap happens, we'll see Echo Zulu start to rack up the rounds in a similar fashion.
Yeah, and here we go. Bozak's going to be punching these windows again, pretty much just like we saw him do in the first round. He's going to get on his cams. And it looks like we're going to see the exact same hold here coming out from Psychopaths as, it worked out pretty well for them. I'm going to be excited to see if they bring the same aggressive energy as they did the last time.
Now, Rook was brought, and I just saw on my screen that there were still 4 jackets not picked up. So the Rook picked up his jacket, and nobody else. A little bit of selfish utility there. It just went down from 4 to 3, so helping out your squad a little bit here. I guess PKP don't feel like they need it, which might be fair. Still, though, a little questionable leaving that on the table. Perhaps we'll see an attacker runner and pick up one of those. It would be quite amusing. This top floor hold, though, has been quite a problem for Echo Zulu. They've really struggled to deal with these roamers. They are trying to this time around. Last couple of rounds, it seems like they've been a little bit too focused on the bomb site. But they've definitely got their guys up on this top floor, and they're going for their drones right now. Gather the information, then go for some kills. Kendama a little bit slow to get that Twitch drone. Could work out for them. I mean, these attackers are starting to get into good positions, but it's a run out from down below.
Gosh.
Twist with the first one, and Max with the follow-up. Man, oh man, that's really disheartening for Echo Zulu.
Yeah, I think we're seeing quite a repetitive streak coming out here from Twist and Max, as I think they've been the 2 players to jump out almost every single round here on this defense. And I mean, if you're not going to be bringing the Nomad or you don't have any kind of denial there for the runouts, then why not if you think you can get it? As we see Bolo here with the fuse, he can't fuse through the roof right there, so he's got to rappel down onto yellow.
Oh no, Bolo having some trouble. Bo Mamba kind of popping off.
Oh,
Finds Twist, but flicks around and then eventually gets traded off. Warzone gets a counter trade though, finding Max. So you've at least got one. Twist will compliment the buck, and he did really go for that one. So Bolo in a bit of a tough position. He's clearly used some of those cluster charges already, so he's in a position to maybe use another one. It'll be tough though. Bolo gets a second headshot on a Bozak. So clearly not too bad for him. They didn't realize he was by that vending machine, but Storms now has the info and he's hunting him down. Gonna go for that long flank. You can see trying to maybe meet up with Warzone. That default cam will be a little bit bad for Bolo though, with his position being given away. He runs past the other default cam without shooting it, but I don't think he got caught out on it, so not the end of the world. As I mentioned, reconnecting with his teammate. It's a 2-on-2. This is actually probably the best opportunity we've seen from Echo Zulu to win a round. Looking into the bomb site. Warzone here to support. Still running out into that teller's area. Looking for these last 2 players. Storms finds it first though. Warzone. No head for him, and you leave it just to Bolo himself. Gets the double. Now he's in a 1-on-1. Things are getting close here. The pings all in favor of Storms, but he's not on that bomb site. Diffuser not in hand of Bolo, so it might not matter. He's just chasing the frags. Oh no! The kit's all the way outside, and this could be so bad. Storms gonna have a huge time advantage. Is Bolo even able to get to the site in time? I don't think he is. That timer's just gonna be the death of him. No, he'll start. This might be doable, but Storms running for his life. You'll find it. Easy peasy. Storms with a headshot. Gives Psychopaths round number 4. Baiko pleading for the plant, but no.
No, yeah, that round definitely came to the team leaving the diffuser all the way outside. They left poor Bolo, the 3-speed out there, to go pick it up with time running out. He didn't have much space to do really anything there, as he's got to get that plant or he loses the round. And for Psychopaths, it just came down to them, waiting out, having the patience, and letting him plant for the free easy kill.
Echo Zulu saying they came to have fun. You know what? That's fair. I mean, for a lot of the teams in the lower levels of these CL quads, I feel like maybe CL's not the goal. You're playing because you like to play the game. You're playing because you want to get better with your team. And I think that's totally a fair way to approach these qualifiers. A lot of teams enter. We had over 100 in the first qualifier. We have over 100 again in the second qualifier. And of course, only 6 spots are available for Challenger League season number 11. So, hey, why not? I mean, you want to come in and play a few games. Doesn't hurt anybody. And it's good to see that the players have a good spirit on it, even though they're not doing too well in this match.
Yeah, any player who's, trying to start competitive has always been there. You got to start somewhere. And, playing in CL quals, you might not make it, especially if it's your first time, but it's good experience. You get to play against some good teams potentially. And, you just build off your losses, and, you can make new friendships or, new connections, and always keep building your team.
Totally. It could always be about proving yourself, too. I mean, sometimes we put a stream on some rather unknown squads, and if somebody pops off, that might be exactly what it takes to get them noticed. Somebody's in chat who is looking for a player, and you just happen to be that one. You get yourself a tryout, you get yourself on a team, and that could be the start of everything. So sometimes you don't really know where your opportunities are going to come from, and it's always good to keep playing, keep looking for those opportunities, because you never know where they're going to pop up.
Yeah, these tournaments are good proving grounds, like you said. You never know who's watching. For me, myself, I started playing some tournaments with some buddies of mine, and, it kind of went from there. It's kind of like sports in the same time. Scouts watch and they see how you play. And if they like how you play, you can make some connections and you can really build yourself. Like myself, I met Pixel that kit and Silent Rage the same way. And, we got on the Strictly Business roster and almost beat Rogue and the Invitational qualifiers. It just proves to go that, if you really want to improve yourself, that you can go places. It doesn't really take much.
Got a lot of peaks going on in the first minute of this round, and kind of lends itself to it when you're playing on this bomb site. Max in an interesting position, kind of leaving himself open to a few angles, but he hasn't been caught out by any of them. It's actually been his teammate, Kendama, who gets downed and finished off by Epiphany with that pistol through the window. But it's another run out from Bozak, and he's the one to get the counter frag. Really well read by him. When you talk about smart runouts, that's exactly what you're talking about. Really well played out by him. Now you've got a couple more players who are a little bit careful. Bo Mamba also going to fall to Max, who won that peak fight again. It's always questionable decision when you peek in Alda. That's going to be again the diffuser on the floor, so they got to be really careful. And no, not Storms, not again. No, Bobo goes down. Really well played by Storms. It's very smart aggression from PKP.
Yeah, Max has been really good on that Alda, and he hasn't been playing like a typical Maestro player here. He's been pretty much running and gunning like he's a 3-speed with that Alda ACOG. Not a lot of people can do that. You usually see the Maestro sitting on site holding large angles, but, Max just wants to get in there and get the frags.
We've traded off the fuse as well, so Warzone going to pick this one up, leaving the sledge to Bolo, so fair enough. Just staring at the drone as well, waiting for his teammates to drone for him. Trying to get on in. I mean, this is a bit of a tough spot that you find yourself in. You've still got those, oh boy. I was going to say you still got the shield in front of your face, but nope, not any longer. Max finds the side of Baicho's head, and once again, it's going to be the fuse alone. A 1v4 is a little bit better than a 1-on-5. Not quite as good as a 1-on-1. It doesn't seem like he's really got a plan today, Toasty.
No, yeah, it doesn't look like that either. The whole team, these attacks might not be the best for them. I'm excited to see what they do on defense, but this entire attack side, it's looked like they couldn't just get in the map. You saw them outside of the garage on their attacks for the garage. They kind of just sat out there and tried to get any picks, and on the upstairs and middle floor, they kind of just repelled, but there's Storms there going to be hitting a nice shot on the Warzone. But yeah, for Zulu, I think they just need to work on getting inside the building and not, trying to get those easy picks. They got to get in and get dirty.
KD was not successfully saved in that round. We might have a perfect match for PKP, and I think that's important. You talk about these early games for the teams that do want to go far. I mean, we talk about maybe Echo Zulu not taking this super seriously, and that would be fair. But on the side of Psychopaths, this is definitely a squad that's shooting for Challenger League. I don't know that they're going to be one of the favorites to make it in, but I don't think it's totally out of the question that this is a squad that qualifies. So they're like really going to be looking for it, especially after a poor performance in week number 1. They want to get those early wins under your belt. You can win this one quickly in probably under 45 minutes if you're smart enough, then hey, or if you're fast enough, then hey, you can get a huge rest before that next matchup, and that can be pretty big when your next match is a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice, especially when I was playing in tournaments. It was nice to play, like a lower level team, not as experienced because you can warm up your aim, you can warm up your comms. It's a good, really kind of warm up first game in general, and then you kind of carry that momentum. And if you can, it can be really deadly on who you play next, even if they're a much more experienced team. That momentum and the comms are going, the people are happy, your aim is on. It can really improve how you do in your next game.
Kind of relates back to the mindset that we were talking about earlier, right? If you're in a good mood, if you're in that good mental space, that really can do wonders for you. So yeah, I love this, and especially from PKP. I mean, maybe this isn't the biggest deal, but like at this level, but like you're playing fewer rounds, you're saving some strats. You never know, if you make it all the way to close qualifiers, you're gonna have teams that are like specifically watching all of your old Vods. And so if you get casted in a game where you're doing quite well, you don't have to give up very much in terms of information. That can be a huge deal. Whereas if you get streamed a couple of times in the qualifiers, you have a couple of really close games where you have to watch a lot of matches, that could be something. This is the first Amaru I've ever seen in competitive play, and that was a sexy repel in.
Yeah, it makes a lot of noise, and he's actually going to get picked off here by Twist, who was just kind of waiting for him behind the desk. And yeah, that is my first Amaro as well. But the only thing about it is that, if you're listening and, you got good comms and it's not cluttered, you're going to be able to hear that Amaru zip line in. And there goes another zip line in as the diffuser gets dropped here. And he's going to get picked off by Bo Mamba actually here running into the site. And he's going to get maybe two. He actually downs Storms, who hits him with the headshot. And now it's just a 1v4 and Bolo here, the TSM roster move. Let's see if he can do it, as he's going to be maybe shot through the floor, and Storms picks him off, and PKP wins their 6th consecutive round.
Not too bad from the Psychopaths. You have a perfect half. Only one really close call back in round number 4 when that plant almost went down inside a piano, but of course it wasn't meant to be. We'll swap sides. It's going to be another perfect half and then an overtime win if Echo Zulu want to take it. He's just better, I suppose. This isn't going too well. And again, I mean, they're having some fun. They're bringing this to Chonka. This is what they've been waiting for, probably the whole game. Max with some words of encouragement. Yeah. You like to see it.
I really hope we get to see a Tachanka kill here.
Me too.
That'd be pretty good. But, I mean, it's good that this team's getting casted. Hopefully if they are an actual team and decide to stick together, then they have the VODs, which is good. They can, review it and see what they did wrong and, get our feedback as well. But for now, all I got to say is, they're not bad players. They just, need to work on it as a team. And I believe if they stick together and they watch the VODs and practice, then I think these guys could definitely get a lot better.
It might be kind of tough to learn from a game like this, though.
That's true.
Like, I guess there's some
more of a ranked
There's some very basic tips we could give. Don't play Tachanka. Don't play Maru.
Yeah, that might be one of them.
If they're looking for him. However, maybe this is the ace. I mean, we won't be saying don't play it if this works, right?
Yeah, if he just sprays them all down right out of the rip, then maybe it's a new strat that I think Bola himself might bring into Pro League.
Bola's gonna hear about the other Bolo, and he's gonna adopt the strategies.
He's just better.
He's just better.
He's gonna hear better Bolo. It doesn't look like anyone's actually going to be spawning over there. So he might not be able to get this 5-piece.
Unlucky.
But a TK coming out here from Baiko on the Warzone. And that's the Rook gone. One of the ACOGs. ACOG takes out ACOG. What is that? Is that an Ella shotgun jump out?
Might have been. He got the kill for it. So, hey, whatever way it works, we got a bit of a slaughter fest going on here. The Tachanka just sitting on the top of yellow stairs, waiting for somebody to move upwards. He's gonna have to wait for a while. Unfortunately, not on the bomb site means that all of his teammates are down, and he's gonna have to hope that the attackers push into him. He'll go for the jump out instead. Not a bad move. The defensive run out.
What a shot.
Kills Storms, but eventually gets traded by Kendama. Psychopaths take the match 7-0, and well done by them. A fun match, if nothing else here, Toasty.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun match to watch and to cast, and I think Bolo has a lot to learn from this Bolo, so it'll be interesting what he has to say about it.
I'm hoping we get like a Bolo v Bolo 1v1 to prove maybe
Tachanka 1v1.
Yeah, because that was honestly not a bad
run. He did hit a trick shot.
He did hit a pretty
hit a trick shot. And he actually finishes the kill on top. Frags don't matter. He's out here supporting the team.
What would you like to
Storm's
see?
actually 9-2.
Yeah, really good scoreline from Storms. I mean, scorelines from matches like these can be tough to read into, obviously. But, I mean, that's going to be it for match number 1. It was a bit of a quicker one, we know, so we're going to have a bit of a break. Next match is going to be starting up in around 50 minutes, around 45 minutes by the time this delay goes through. So 45 minutes, you got a lot of time to go get some snacks, go use the bathroom, do whatever you need to. We're going to be continuing our Canadian coverage here on day number 1 of week 2 of ESL Challenger League season number 11 qualifiers. We'll see you in just a sec. Bye-bye.
Tighter than before, they still want something more. Heat dries out the skin as their patience grows thinner, thinner than before, as they want even more, as they share in this fire. They stood in the fire, burn with desire, in love and emotion, they dance with devotion. They stood in the fire, burn with desire, in love and emotion, they dance with devotion. Burn with desire, love and emotion. what she wants. Pick up the phone. I'll pick up the phone. Get what she wants. And get what she wants. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and get what she wants. saw ya. A beautiful time in a deadly year. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? Just hurry up and spit it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Don't look back when I call ya, but does that mean that you don't care? Go back to when I saw ya, your beautiful eyes with a deadly stare. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? It won't hurt to let it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. 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 Time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. I hope it gets better with time. I hope it gets better with time. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to North American Challenger League Qualifiers, season number 11, Qualifier 2, day number 1. We're back on our Canadian trip. We're taking a look at some Canadian teams. This time is going to be Nordique Esports taking on Bird and the Biceps. Two pretty good teams. I'm again going to be joined by Orgoner Toasty and Crater on the observation. Toasty, how are you excited for these games?
Yeah, we just got to see Psychopaths play another great Canadian team, and now we're getting to see Nordique play, or Nordique, however you say it. We're still waiting for confirmation on, how to properly say it, as it is a French organization, I believe, with some pretty good French players. We got Lackey and Skies, who are both pretty well known, I'd say.
Yeah, so we should have a good game again because Bird and Biceps are a pretty well-known squad. You should recognize some of these player names. Obviously, guys like Avian, maybe other guys like Cry Magic, Zoinkers, Blarn, Bravo Dog. That's sort of their lineup. So there should be some names that I think people recognize in there. Avian obviously just recently got released from the Sonics roster, which was a pretty good team in North American Pro League season number 10, and then Challenger League in season 9 and season 11 as well. So he's obviously got quite a lot of experience behind his back. And then the guys, the other players on this team, I should say, probably referring to as the Biceps, are also quite experienced players in terms of just qualifiers and being in the scene for a while.
Yeah, a lot of these names look pretty familiar to me. They got Blarn, who I'm pretty sure was in CL last season, and Bravo Dog as well. And I think this is kind of a remaster, as you would say, of that CL team here. We got, Cry Magic, Bravo Dog, Blarn. I'm not sure if Zonkers was there, but I know the name.
Yeah, he's been playing in qualifiers and stuff in the tier 3 scene, so he should be like familiar, more or less to people. So yeah, this should be a bit closer of a game than our last match. I'm hoping so at the very least, because the last one, I mean, like, credit to Psychopaths, they played well, but the team they were up against was not super competitive, so it was a bit of a roll. And it ended up being a 7-0 over on Consulate. This time around, we're going to be here on Villa. Teams are readying up, so we are jumping into the game right now. Again, Bird and Biceps versus Nordique Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get going on Villa here. And HUD's going to be on for just a second, but I'll fix that right now. So we're getting into bans, of course. And what are you expecting here for Villa?
I think maybe a Jackal ban would be safe here. These two teams, I don't know how good they are strat wise, so I think going Jackal is just an easy ban. It's kind of a rank thing, and there he goes. You don't really want to play against him. He's one of the most annoying operators to play against. It makes roaming really hard, and if you're like a really aggressive team that you're not really focusing on strats, then roaming against the Jackal can be pretty annoying when you're trying to go for those like big kill flanks.
Jackal off of the board, probably for their attacker. It wouldn't be surprising to see like a third or a Habana get off the board. Would make attacking very, very difficult on this map. They go for the Lion though. An interesting move from Bird and Biceps. I guess maybe just a comfort pick, an operator they really don't like playing against.
Yeah, the Frenchies are kind of known for their aggressive play and their quick flanking and roaming capabilities. So maybe bringing that line is they're hoping they can shut them down and catch off any rotations that they might be able to get. The line does bring a lot of utility, so having that off the board is gonna be able to really change the game up here on Villa, which is pretty crazy in itself when it comes to roaming.
Maestro also gone, and then Amira. So very, very common for Villa. Two of the strongest defenders that we see inside of the game, especially with Goyo back on the field. I feel like Maestro has become even more powerful just because when you have both those operators available to you, there's so much like the soft destruction that the attackers need to bring. There's so much they have to deal with, so much they have to destroy. So it makes sense that operator gets banned out here on Villa, where again it's a pretty favorable map for the all-day using operator.
Yeah, quick picks coming out here from the Bicep team. It looks like they know what they want to bring, and they've got their roles sorted out, which is good. I'm expecting both teams, since they have a lot of experience in comp, I can name a couple of these people that I really hope we're going to be able to see some strategy coming into this one, unlike the last game we saw.
Yeah, I mean, this one almost certainly will be a closer game than the last matchup.
I really hope so.
Partly because there's good players in this one, not on both teams, I should say, and partly because that last one was just real bad. So we'll start up trophy statuary. A little bit unusual. Typically we start in Aviator games, but it's not crazy to be going to the secondary site rather than the primary site for most teams right off the bat. You know, you can try to throw your opponents off guard, and worst case scenario, you just go to the primary site in round number 2, and it's not the end of the world. You're going to have to go here anyways, more likely than not. So Nordic going to be starting off here. Again, like, they're lined up pretty common names in the French scene. You've got like Delta, who's been a big player before, Lackey as well, we saw in Canada Nationals. Again, tonight's theme is sort of following the Canadian teams because I was casting the Canada Nationals. Toasty, you were also playing in the Canada Nationals, so we've seen a lot of these players over the past couple months.
Yeah, they're good players to play against. Don't think I got to play against any of these guys on Villa, or some of them even in general. I'm looking to see how they're gonna do here. As you know, the Canadians, you gotta root for the Canadians.
Hopefully they can put up a fight, show us a good match. That's at the end of the day all I really want to see from these two squads. So already in the building, relatively fast from the attackers if they're actually in here. Looks like, yeah, already approaching into the bomb site too. Bravo Dog really wants to get aggressive into Aviator Games, the games room. But of course, this is not the bomb site, so it's going to be a little bit easily given up by the defenders. They don't want to waste too much. Skies, especially, already taking a little bit of damage in this round, means that they maybe want to play a little bit safe.
Yeah, it looks like they're opting to attack here from the trophy side of things. As you know, they might not have noticed that they've gone to an opposite site that's not usually picked. Looks like they're going to be trying to push this 90 here with Astra playing on the window, but that shield's kind of being a nonsense for them, as I think it's the Echo drone that's sitting there, as well as a player right in that corner. Yeah, Skies on the Echo there. He's actually going to be taken out as the Astrarch goes down, but I don't know if anyone knows he's injured, and he's got one teammate over there to help him out, but it doesn't look like Blarn is going to be able to finish him off.
That's unfortunate. If he stays alive, that could be big. Wow, great shot from Blarn, actually. Hit the head of Clutch. Take that player off of the board. Gonna put it to equal players numbers now, but with Skies on the board, gonna make it a little bit tougher. Avian comes over and gets 2 in a row. Zoinkers with another one. It's gonna leave one player, Skies, all alone in a 1-on-4. Sorry, S4. Is that Skies? I believe it is.
Oh no, S4.
Okay, S4 it is then. Alone up against the bird and the biceps. 4 players here, and again, tough to hold on to, especially with so much time remaining. The attackers really have a lot of wiggle room in this situation. You can kind of attack this from a couple different angles. You've got players down below. You've got players coming from northeast, southwest, wherever you want to be at. And this just makes it very difficult. You've, of course, got Cry Magic and Avian working away at the master bedroom, throwing off some of these EMP grenades. You've got X-Kairos as well to try to utilize. All those roamers went down so quickly that there's still quite a bit of like busy work that you have to accomplish on the bomb site that S4 kind of just has to sit and wait for.
Yeah, he's on Legion, so you know, if he gets 2 Legions off on Blarn there on the Buck. So the fact that they're taking so long to attack this might just work in S4's favor, as he's Legion and his utility comes up off time base, so he might be able to hold it down here if they keep giving him the time. But the bomb's going down. Avian's going to be planning, and S4 has kind of just trapped himself into this blue room. He's got a Legion on that door, and he knows someone's in bathroom. But now he's got to push as the bomb's going down. That wall is open, and Hibana's going to spot him, and he's going to try to opt to go to the bathroom, but Zoinker's there to shut him down. And it's looking like it is going to be the round in favor for the biceps, as he's got nowhere to go, and he's going to get picked off by Cry Magic just sitting and watching on that window.
So not a bad first round for the bird and the biceps. I mean, pretty clean. I think getting those kills really early on helped them quite a bit. Maybe you got to pull back a little bit if you're Nordic Esports, because you had a lot of those players dying really off the bomb site. You know, it was good roam clear from Bird and Biceps. When you're going up against a strong team like this with very experienced players, you're expecting them to do the basics, right? You're not expecting them to just rush the bomb site, get caught off by these plays where you're playing players pretty far away. You talked about how already we're seeing some aggression coming up from these French teams, and this is sort of what we expect from Nordic Esports. Maybe they want to roam a little bit more than other teams would, but I think it'd be in their best interest to maybe pull things back a little bit, because that last round, again, it felt like they lost just because they played so many people so far from the bomb site.
Yeah, I think like it was like 4 quick rapid kills there, as you know, Biceps kind of actually gained control of the map and took their time and droned it. And I feel like as soon as they know where those players were, they could capitalize on it, since they were just so far away from the site. They didn't really have anyone, you know, refragging. We saw Skies literally sitting in an open corner Like he couldn't play the shield. He was just sitting out in the open, and it was an easy down for Blarn just to peek the hallway and get the kill. So I think they really need to play a little bit more smart here and not so, peak heavy and frag heavy. And then I think after that they'll be able to change things around and get the win here.
They attempt trophy statuary again, which is an interesting choice just because, again, Aviator Games being opened up, usually teams are going to want to go there, but who knows? Maybe they just don't feel too comfortable on it, or maybe they really feel like this can go a little bit better for them. When a round is pretty lopsided as it was, and you still choose to go back to it, usually it means you're going to be changing some stuff up quite significantly, or you know exactly sort of what went wrong. I feel like the second of those two options is certainly a possibility, right? There was some pretty obvious, like, play less aggressive, and this could go a lot better for you. Saying that, though, Delta pretty far in the study, and he has that super shorty if he wants to get aggressive. He'll back off eventually, just wanting to play with his pests. Probably the smarter way to do it, as the attackers are now starting to drone their way into that room, but could have gotten aggressive. You never know.
Yeah, and as we were talking about aggression, he crouch walks right up to the window there, trying to gain control of that room since they had not yet opened that door. He thought he could take the control, maybe get a jump out kill, but it's not going to work that way. And he's kind of falling back here and trying to play off of his past and look for an easy kill. But as we say that, Zoinkers is going to pick up a kill onto the roaming Mozzie there, who we just saw. He's going to be taken out, and now they're working their way and gaining control into this 90 hall.
Yeah, and these roamers need to start putting up results for Nordic. Here's Skies in a bit of engagement, knows that somebody's up above. It's Zoinkers on the wall, and he will go down. A great run up from S4. Really well executed by him, hitting the headshot. Ballsy play that does pay off. Unfortunately, the Echo still does go down. Bravo Dog just at the other end of that 90 hall is able to hit the shot. So that's going to make the player advantage still stick in favor of B&B. They're going to feel quite happy about that, as now you've dealt with most of the roamers over on the side of Nordic. Again, you're taking a look at their roster, and other than S4, you've got most of these guys sitting back towards the bomb site, so that's a lot better for them, I would say. S4 still able to do a little bit of shenanigans. I think they're going to have to rely on him a little bit if they want to be successful. He's going to cloak and then destroy a drone, so they have an idea of where S4 is running around at, but they don't know exactly, so this could be pretty good for Nordic. At least give them the element of surprise.
Yeah, the clock's ticking down here. It's a minute exactly, and there's going to be a couple kills coming out. I think that's Lackey on the roam here on Jaeger. It doesn't look like there's much presence on site, as, Lackey's kind of pushed out here looking to get a pick and take some ground back, but he's going to fall to Bravo Dog, and it's all up to S4 once again on the vigil.
Holding this angle. This is going to be a bit of a close one. He's now going to rotate, looking at the bomb. Knows that there's 3 players, and they can start that plant anytime that they want to. There's a fight for S4. He barely stays alive, but he doesn't manage to get anything from it. Avian starts this plant, and S4 again aware of it, but Cry Magic watching, going to be able to hold that angle, and Bravo Dog at the end of things hits the headshot on S4 and gives B&B their second round.
Yeah, I think it came down to, the droning was good, and the Thatchers were actually being used very effectively to get rid of those pests on the doorway, as the Mozzie was sitting there holding the angle, so the teamwork coming out there from Biceps to be able to use their utility to drone out the roamers and actually get a pick off quite early.
So still a bit of a similar round, I would say, from both those times. I would say a bit better roaming from S4, but ultimately leaving his teams a little bit alone, his teammates a little bit alone, I should say. Did punish him, so they'll change things up this time around. They'll go to Aviator Games instead. Bring in the Goyo. This is what I was talking about again. With this Maestro being off of the board, the Goyo not going to be quite as powerful. Still a good operator, and still an operator that I think a lot of teams are experimenting with. I haven't really seen any Goyo on Villa personally, so I'm interested to see how this gets utilized on the Aviator Games bomb site. But I know he's very, very popular on maps like a Clubhouse in particular. He's been really, really utilized on even maps like Cafe. He's been seeing a lot of use, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the Goyo works out, because it's an interesting op, and I think one with a lot of potential.
Yeah, he brings like a way crazy amount of utility to a team. He can cut off certain sight lines, especially on maps like you said, Cafe and Clubhouse, versus a lot of sight lines or a lot of places where you could use that utility to either stop plants or stop rushes. And he's an all-around great operator, and he brings so much to the team. And if you use him correctly, it can win you some rounds.
So we'll start off this action phase, and we'll see again where Nordic want to play their players. You've got Clutch back on the Legion, so he's going to be utilizing those goo mines when he can. Wasting no time with the droning phase from the boys over on B&B. Now Delta's again running around inside of this bomb site. You're worried a little bit here about maybe not having enough roam presence, but since you are on this this bomb site, it can kind of be okay. I haven't seen where these Goyo shields have actually gone down, though. Have you noticed any so far, Toasty?
I think one went on the vault door so he could sit behind it and, you know, kind of be safe in the vault, as well as, you know, deny people trying to run through the doorway into trophy. So I think that's a pretty good Goyo coming out, but I didn't see many other ones.
He's still got one in his pocket, so there's only two out there that we need to be looking for. Finally put it down almost a minute into this round. Pretty late, but maybe he's just trying to adapt to where these attackers are coming from. I don't think that's a bad strategy at all. So he didn't get punished for it. That's all that really matters. He's going to put it inside a 90 and just wait for somebody to try to push him in that position. You've already got a couple of attackers looking at the bomb site. I mean, they're closing in on it now, mostly on their drones, looking for this utility. That's what you got to do as attackers, right? Slow things down a little bit. When you're playing on a bomb site like this one, you've got to play a little bit more passively as defenders, so I think that's fair. Look at Lackey in Piano Room. He could go for a bit of a flank, though, and he might be the one to watch out for later on into this round to go for a nasty flank.
Yeah, he's kind of set himself up downstairs, and earlier we talked about how roaming on Villa can be pretty big, you know. There's a lot of potential to get those big flanks where you can get a lot of kills without the team really noticing before you've already struck in. So we'll see how he plays it out here. You know, he might just be down there to run up time and on his last couple seconds run back up. But I'm excited to see what he does here. With Zoinkers are playing on this window, just watching rotations.
Zoinker's loving that upside down rappel. I mean, you gotta give it to him. He's played all right on it so far. Surviving for quite a long time. I can recall in situations up against the Echo in 90. But now they've found themselves in a bit of a power position. Obviously, Blarn taking over that 90. There was a couple players playing here before, but clearly they forced him out of that position. You got Avian putting pressure in as well onto the bomb site, looking through those windows. That's going to be quite useful. Some Toxic Babes getting expended. Again, this time really low. He's got 10 players alive in 35 seconds. That's a recipe for some chaos. Cry Magic just now starting to open up some sight lines, so that's quite good from him. You can see already one of those Volcan shields able to put some fire onto the battlefield. Again, going to slow down the attack. There's a lot of these slowing tools are working out, but now Avian's here with the plants. His teammates are all falling, though. This could be the end of him. He's going to fall as well. Doesn't get that diffuser down. 15 seconds on the clock. 2 attackers left alive, and they need to get back in. Their whole team has seemingly fallen apart around him. Cry Magic and Zoinkers, the last people here, make it just one. Zoinkers, the last alive with 5 seconds, and no hope. It's a flawless round for Nordic to answer back.
Oh man, I think we got a game on our hands here. As I said earlier, like Lackey, he came in the last second and got 2 clutch kills. He actually killed the IQ who was planning and killed someone who else was on the flank watch. And like we said, that roaming can be pretty crazy if you know how to play it right. And I really do think we're gonna have a good game on our hands here as Nordic takes it a flawless round.
We've been live for 2 hours, and we finally have a team score another round. Right? It's not just been one team dominant, so I'm happy at that. We've got ourselves the worst case scenario is 7-1, and we'll take those. Dining room kitchen is where we go for round number 4. Interesting, they really don't like trophy statuary. They went there twice in a row, which made me think that I guess they're just really comfortable here. But now that Aviator Games is locked up, they can't go there. Also questionable, since they seemed so good on Aviator Games, why they didn't start there. I guess at least they got it in round number 3, so they can play it twice anyways. It shouldn't matter as long as they win it both times. But it's something to think about for them for sure.
Yeah, I think they were kind of sitting around and waiting to see how Biceps was going to play before they could pick their sites. You know, when you start the game, you want to know how the teams play, and if you see that, you know, they're countering how you usually play on a site, then, you know, you can change it up, and that's what we saw there after they took a loss twice in the one site. They switched it up and they won, so I think they're starting to figure out how this team attacks and, you know, how they can counter it.
Some quick setup here from Nordic. You can tell this is a very pre-prepped strategy. Not a lot of teams will put a lot of effort into kitchen dining on this map, just because you don't typically expect to play a lot of that downstairs on Villa. Typically, those top 2 floors are where you're going to spend most of your time, but it's good that Nordic have already been prepping for something like this. It shows at the very least that they're taking this stuff seriously and that they're here to win. They did place in the last qualifiers. They got 18th overall, tied with quite a few teams. They got 2 points at the end of week number 1. Bird and Biceps finished in 6th place, which got them 10 points. So both these teams certainly still in the running. We've got a lot more qualifiers to play for, and both these teams very much up in the air if they're going to make it into the closed qualifier or not. Typically, in terms of like at least historically, we see you need about 20-ish points to make it into the closed qualifier. So not a super high bar if we're being totally honest, and very much achievable for both these squads.
Yeah, both these squads have a lot of experience, and it's good to see some actual strats, pre-planned strats coming out here, as you know we get to see some good roaming and some good team play. Well, I'm really excited to see what Biceps does here to counter these strats, because for me, I think they're more of a pug team, but they still got a lot of experience on their hand with people like Avian and Blarn, you know, competitive players that we've seen, and you know, playing that long, you sometimes know how to take down some of these strats. So I'm excited to see what they do here.
Totally. I think you got to think about, too, like with Avian just being released from the Sonics, obviously he's known a little bit before we have, but that is pretty recent, so probably you're not going to have quite as much prep time over on the side of Bird and the Biceps. So just something to keep in mind as we continue on with this matchup. Maybe there's a bit stronger history. Here comes a Nitro Cell. It's going to miss. Unfortunately, the second Delta got off his cams. The player that was up above him did move off, so just missed it for him. Unlucky in that sense. Avian up above, the rest of the team kind of there with him, just doing work on his floorboard. There goes Breaching Charge. He's got another one in his pockets, and of course the Buck up there also doing quite a bit of work. So that's not too bad from your squad. Lackey in a position where he could go for a run out. I don't know if there's anybody up on that roof outside. I don't believe there is. Zoinker's on the other side of the building, so he's not going to get caught off by that. Still looking in, though. I mean, it's not impossible for him to try to make a play here, as they're going to start running in towards the top floor, right above the bomb site.
Yeah, we see Lackey here again trying to make these aggressive roam plays. It worked for him the last time, and you can kind of say it got them the win on that last round. We'll be looking to see if he can do it again here, as the time is ticking down, and Cry Magic is looking to push through this laundromat hallway. But with the Legions keep coming up and all the Goyo shields still up, it's going to be hard for these attackers to push with, you know, all this utility. It's still a 5v5 with 15 seconds left, so let's see how they do it here as they push into site.
This has been tough. Already they're losing one member. They've really struggled when they don't have a lot of time, and again, it seems like the exact same story. You've got just Zoinkers and his teammate left alive, Blarn, trying to make something work, but no, doesn't happen that way. Nordic Esports take their second round. They're going to tie things up, and 2 rounds in a row now, we've really seen B&B struggle to get in. They spend the first 2.5 minutes doing nothing, and then they sprint to the bomb site, losing their lives in the process.
Yeah, I think for this team, again, just like the last team we saw, they're sitting outside. They're not really taking much control of the map, and it's hurting them big time, as you know, the utility is not getting taken out, the roamers aren't getting cleared, and it's really biting them in the butt in this match. Their roam clear hasn't been as good as I think they want it to be, and just getting into the building in general, like Zoinkers, I think, has been repelling for a good 90% of the game, and it really hasn't worked. We've seen it get a couple kills, but I think they really need to just be way more aggressive if they're going to want to win this match.
So unfortunately, they have to go back to trophy statuary. And again, it seems like when Nordic are doing well, it's because they're kind of hunkering in, right? It's not that there's no pressure on the roam. Clearly, they're slowing down their opponents still, but they're not dying. They're not getting too aggressive when they're roaming either. You're just putting on a little bit of pressure, and just the smallest bit of pressure is really just halting Bird and Biceps to a complete halt. They're not being able to move anywhere once the pressure gets put on from Nordic. It's when Nordic overextend with their pressure and really get a little bit too cocky. It's when they get punished, and those early picks go the way of B&B. So maybe they can change their strategy. Maybe they've learned from the last 4 rounds, and they can take a look at this bomb site and say, maybe we'll play it a different way. Just based off their operators, you can tell something different's going on. There's no Echo on the board this time around. You've got a Valkyrie here from Skies instead. So there's already some adaptation being shown. There's no Mozzie either. So hopefully we'll see something different. A pre-placed C4 from Skies is going to maybe help them out as well as they try to hold on to this south side.
Yeah, I think they've definitely learned big time, as you know, we've seen 2 really, really good wins here from Nordique for these last 2 rounds. After they lost those 2, they took into account what they needed to do and what was working and what was not working, and it's really showing here that they've found a way to counter this bicep squad who, you know, looked really strong at the start, but is now starting to get taken down on like almost flawless, like flawless into almost flawless rounds, as you know they let the clock get the best of them.
Looking for some soft wall kills. Nothing just yet, though. Coming up these stairs. I mean, this has again been a pretty safe roam. As I say that, maybe just Caster's Curse. There we go. Lackey actually falls to Bravo Dog. This is what's been working out really, really well for BNB. But there's the return. S4. He's been a good fragger so far from Nordic. And he doesn't even need to be super far from the bomb site, right? He's just there, willing to go for those shots and peek when he needs to. Has the information of where they're at, and then he can go for those return frags. I love that from him. They can now be in a pretty decent position. There's the C4, and there's no movement happening up above either. A perfect C4 kill onto Zoinkers. Not on a rappel this time, but it doesn't seem to matter. Delta still puts the player advantage once again in favor of Nordic. And again, Burden the Biceps are one of the favored teams inside of these qualifiers. Might just be they're getting casted, a little bit nervous as they come into this matchup. Whatever it may be, maybe Nordic have just really stepped up their game, but this is a bit of a turnaround and a bit of a disaster for BNB.
Yeah, I think Nordic really wanted to play this map. It looks like they've got some good strategies going here. Like, look at Sky's still in the closet here. They haven't gotten him out, and there's a minute left. They've already lost 2 of their entries, so it's going to be pretty hard for them to get Skies out of here. And if he can stay here, that's going to be very detrimental to their attack. As you know, they're missing flashes. It looks like they're shaking a little bit, but Avian's actually going to get Skies because he's getting too aggressive, and you know you can't be doing that here with time ticking out and having such good control. So we need to see S4, one of the roamers or site players, step up as the attack's about to come down.
That last 6 with Thermacharge not opening enough of that wall, so we really are in a bad spot here. These hard destructing operators haven't done their job. Crime Magic really having some struggles thanks to the Valkyrie. Crime Magic does get a kill though, and he gets a second one. His teammate Bravo Dog with a double. That's going to help them out. We just have S4, and again, he's been big so far in this matchup. Avian's going to start the plant. He gets the first kill. He needs to move in a position where he actually find those players. Good calls from the guys on BNB saying he can't see you, just finish the plant, and then we'll go for this 2v1. S4 needs to get aggressive and go on the offensive. This is going to be so tough for him because he knows that he has to both play against 2 players and get this defuse. He gets the first headshot on a Bravo Dog. He's on a triple kill now. Needs his 4th. He stims himself up. He knows he has a bit of time to play with. Not a lot, but a little bit. He's going to use 2 of those stim pistols. Still has 1. Probably won't use it. Goes for the reload as well. Now he's ready for this fight. Avian playing it so passively. He's going to start this counter defuse. Avian forced to push. Sticking it for a long time. Avian fires some warning shots. That's enough for S4 to get off. Now he goes back on it this time. Maybe it's too far gone. He needs to stick it, and Avian's aware. He's just going to run on in. He wins the fight, and that's going to be the knife to finish it off on S4's throat. Burden Biceps get the lead once again.
Man, what a round there, We saw S4, once again, he's been the one who's always been in those clutch situations, it feels like, whether it's on the Vigil or the Mozzie or whatever he's playing. He's been the last one alive, and he definitely looks like he can clutch, but right there he got scared off by Avian shots. That veteran knowledge coming in. He's he knows how to get people off the diffuser and make them play his game, and that's what he did there. I think we saw 2 scans come out during that. I think they had some intel on where the last 2 players were, but S4 didn't really pick up on that, and he lost some time there. So I think that just comes down to losing maybe too many players with the time coming down, and I think if S4 has some backup there, he definitely wins.
So that's 3 failed defenses on Trophy Statuary. They've been perfect every other bomb site, so it's not like it's all bad for Nordic Esports, but that one bomb site seems to be a big trouble spot for them. So the good news is they can go to Aviator Games once again. They can head back here and hopefully get another victory for their sake, tie things up for us, and send us to a 3-3 half. 4-2 would be pretty bad in this sense, just because you take a look at Villa, one of the more defensible maps we tend to say, so you typically want to see like a 3-3 split or a 4-2 for the defenders. If the attackers are going up 4-2 after the first half, that's pretty bad. It's hard to come back from 4-2 when you're moving on to the attack. If you're going to defense, it's doable. Certainly not the end of the world for you, but it's a bit tougher when you start on the defense and you go down 4-2. That's the reality that might face Nordic Esports. Of course, they've got one more round to try to prevent that, and certainly I think with the way they've been playing, it's not impossible. I want to see a little bit faster play from BNB. They've been so slow. 2 of the rounds that they've lost, it's just been crawling a pace, and They get on their drones. I mean, the info's fine, but the few roamers that are being sent out from Nordic are just too much, and they're never able to move anywhere, and then the round's almost over.
Yeah, we see a lot of Lackey comes to mind on that Jaeger. He's roaming pretty hard here. We see a couple guys actually here playing over by the master bedroom side, playing on the opposite side of the map, and Zoinker is once again going to be going on a window. We'll see if he can actually, get in the building and get an entry here, as we see actually one player fall off pretty early. Those Goyo shields, I feel like, are going to come into a big play here near the end of the round.
You've already got couple of seconds off of the board. You've got 1 minute pass almost, and a little bit of health off of clutch. So again, it's been slow, and you're worried about that. It is Villa, so 1 minute off the board with just droning is not the end of the world. That's pretty standard for teams, and you're not worried yet just off that, but that's sort of the start of things, right? Delta from down below with a C4, really well read. Being able to find that onto Bravo Dog means that you're now going to have a player advantage for Nordic. That means these roamers are going to have even less pressure because that's the Zofia off the board. Lauren tosses in a frag grenade on where he thinks that C4 might have come from, but no, that's not where the players are at, so that's going to be a wasted frag grenade being tossed by him. Zoinkers equalizes us, though, on those windows, on that upside-down rappel. He's not upside down, but I bet he was, or he's wanted to be. So he's got that to equalize. Still doable, but this is going to get a little bit tougher as this time continues to go down.
Yeah, we're seeing Zoinkers once again on the rappel there. We've seen him get a couple kills there, but it really comes down to if, this Bicep team can actually get into the map and take control and get a plant off without being flanked. And as we say that, Blarn's going to get someone playing on site, and it looks like he might have a direct line of sight here, but the smokes come out from smoke. Those toxic babes are really going to run down the time here, which has been the biggest killer for Bicep, as they've got nitros, they've got goyos, they've got so much utility, and I don't doubt that they've got a couple Velcams still up too. So if Biceps play this right, they might be able to get a plan off, but I think with all the utility on the side of Nordic that they might be able to hold off this plant until time runs out.
Skies goes ahead and pops one of those Volcans, and that does get gathered up by Avian. Again, he's been good on gathering intel, but it's been doing something with that intel that's really been the struggles for B&B. Crime Magic holding the angle again, opening things up, but Skies is able to walk past a couple of times, and he's going to win the fight on a Crime Magic.
Huge.
That's the angle he's supposed to be watching. Avian almost gets this plant down, though. That Toxic Babe a little bit late, and it's not hitting Avian, so that's going to go down successfully. Now we're in a 3-on-3 post plant. A player down behind that little area there. He is alive. He's got full HP. He's just choosing to sit down. He gets charged at, but he wins the fight anyways. Beautifully shot by Avian, and the rest of his team are all fragging as well. That's going to make it a 4-2 half, and B&B are going to take the lead there after a pretty impressive round. They managed to speed things up a little bit, and that helped them.
Yeah, we got to admire the C4 coming out there from Delta that round. That wasn't even with the pulse. That was just with the Velcam, and, it takes a lot more skill to be able to do that, and that was a big pick for them, but they just couldn't hold them out. Like, I saw the Toxic Babes and all the Vulcan shields going out, but it was just not hitting that planner, and that really messed them up with I think there was only a couple seconds left I didn't get to see, but if that utility actually lands and, hits that, we got a whole different round on our hands.
Aviator Games Room once again after the side swap. Excuse me, as I mentioned, we tend to see this map go a little bit more defender-sided, so this is looking a little bit bad, but maybe with these teams it's not. Oftentimes with any given match, you could see a map go more attacker-sided when it's thought to be defender-sided. That's really not a stat that you can read into all the time, and certainly there are games that break the trends. This could be one of them, and 4-2 is not the end of the world. Again, it's going to be a Goyo brought out, this time by Avian, so clearly both teams favoring the operator on this bomb site. He's going to put two shields actually in the bottom left of your screen, one right after the other, staggering those so that you can pop one, hide behind the second one, and then retreat and pop that second one too when you need to. Really good for time wasting, and I like that strategy a lot, to play the Goyos in that way.
Yeah, I know a lot of people suspected to see Goyo in comp, and I think we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of him here, as, he just brings so much utility, and, these veteran players or these teams, if you dry run and you go over things, and you're going to know how to place them, and you're not going to know how to play against them, because they can be so powerful, especially on maps like Villas where, attackers, they kind of push horizontally, and, there's not a lot of vertical play there. It really comes down to, how you utilize those shields, and we'll see how Biceps does here on their first round of the defense, and if Nordic can take out that utility and push themselves into the site, I think we'll be seeing a pretty good round here.
So we haven't seen a Nordic attack just yet. This is going to be the first one, and already, again, they're getting pretty aggressive with it. They don't like to go slow. what we've seen for the first few seconds of this round. Already taken a fair amount of ground. We've got Blarn actually playing that very first Vulcan shield, so that's going to be something to watch out for. How long does it take for him to fall off of that position, and then are they actually going to be able to pop that once he moves away? You also have to be careful. This doesn't happen too often, but you do have to be worried about perhaps the enemy popping that Goyo shield when you're right behind it, and that can kind of be a disaster for you. So certainly it can be tough when playing these Goyo shields. You got another one over by 90, so sort of we see where these have been planned out in terms of this bomb site, where they've been placed, and hopefully for these defenders' sakes, they can get some use out of them. Zoinker's inside a 90, actually going to be in a gunfight, an angle he's all too familiar with, but it's down the hallway that finishes him off. Skies with a headshot takes him down. That's a nice one from him.
Yeah, that's a really nice angle there, and a good job from Skies to get that kill on the guy on 90s. And there might be a nade coming out here, but he's going to be protected by an ADS, as you know, he really wants to hold these stairs, as him and Cry Magic are holding downstairs, but he's going to get picked up by S4, who, you know, kind of just crouched walk up that hallway to catch him off guard. And without two of their main guys there on 90 and on these stairs, they're going to be able to take so much control of the map. And if they start pushing right now, they can easily, you know, catch him off guard, maybe in sight, or get a plant here. So we'll see how this round turns out.
Still everybody alive for your attackers. They've got over a minute to try to work away at this bomb site and find these last 3 frags. Of course, it's not going to be easy. 1 bird and 2 biceps still alive. Cry Magic going so aggressive. He's going to get caught out. He goes for the shot. He goes for the bolt out actually as well. He gets 1, but he dies for it. Not going to be worth it in the end, leaving his teammate Avian all alone. Clutch clearly not too happy about what just went down, but doesn't seem to matter. His teammates got the frags. S4 with the headshot gives Nordic Esports round number 7, and now they're 1 round away from tying things up.
Yeah, I think Clutch is a little mad about what just happened. He probably was not expecting someone to be out there on the balcony, you know, gunning for him. And, you know, myself, I would have been a little mad too if I saw that. But Avian couldn't clutch up. And, you know, we see the roam clear come out so effectively from Nordique that the players on site really didn't know what to do. They had to go aggressive or they had to sit in sight. And they chose to go aggressive, and it just didn't end up working for them in the end.
Round number 8. Dining room kitchen is where we end up. Interesting that they're going to change away from the Echo. Castle makes some sense here. Might just be trying to disguise where you're headed. But I think I like that. They had selected Trophy, but they changed off of it at the last second to go downstairs instead. So perhaps also just them being a little bit slow and a little bit indecisive on where they're going. Also possible we're reading into things too much, but sometimes when you see teams change things up like that, having to 6-pick different operators, it can mean that they're maybe not super comfortable on what they're doing and might be feeling a little bit flustered. They're still in the lead though, and I don't think they have anything to worry about too much, but especially going up against a relatively unknown squad, if you're not the part of the Quebec scene, it can be a little bit frightening losing so many rounds to a team like this.
Yeah, you never really know what you're going up against when, you know, you're going from someone from, you know, not such a similar region, I would say, as you. You know, they bring different strats. It's like how people say NA can't beat EU, or, you know, the Brazilians are crazy. They got all these strats, you know. Canada in its own, you know, they've got some good players, and, you know, never really underestimate those guys, because, you know, we can see that they're bringing the heat here, and they're giving them a run for their money in a little bit of a sense.
Yeah, the English scene kind of melds in with the American scene just because there's no reason for somebody from Ontario not to play with somebody from California, for let's say. But the Quebec scene certainly gets isolated a lot thanks to that language barrier. It's the same reason why you see Europe kind of develop multiple different sub-regions. Mexico and Quebec sort of do that similarly in North America. And it's a smaller player pool, sure, so you don't typically see those players, or those teams, I should say, do as well as their English counterparts, but it's always unique to see those two different perspectives inside of North America, as opposed to the standard English playstyle we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and Lackey here is going to start off the roam hunt as he picks up Blarn early, and like I said, these Frenchies are, you know, they're pretty quick on the aggressive roam, and Blarn's not going to be too happy about that, as Lackey's already pretty much on top of their site, and the drone coming out here from Zoinkers, he's actually snatched it up, so that's going to allow them to keep the roam upstairs and, you know, keep that intelligence. But we'll see what this IQ can do and see if, you know, he can bring some utility to the team and get rid of those pests.
Not bad from Cry Magic, tossing a C4 to take down Delta, equalize those numbers. So you've traded an IQ for a castle. Probably a pretty good trade from B&B, if I'm being honest. I mean, a castle's not super important once he puts those bits of utility down, and That's going to be a little bit more safe utility on the defense too, with no IQ on the board. So you're quite happy with that trade, I would say. You've also wasted about half of this round so far, and the attackers, in terms of the ground, haven't done a fantastic job. I mean, they've got some players up top here, but they still aren't super comfortable walking around. You can already tell, I mean, they're doing a bit of droning still. They're worried about where these defenders might be playing. I don't know if there's anybody still on the second floor. Certainly there's rotations as Zoinkers goes from the basement to floor number 1 very slowly and surely. Clutch has been downed in the walk-in closet. Some toxic babes being utilized up here to make sure that he has to go down and a teammate has to come around and pick him up. So slow already from Nordic, and they got to be a little bit worried and a little bit concerned about how this round is going.
Yeah, time's ticking out for them, and we saw them get the first pick, but they haven't been able to really utilize it. But now they're proving me wrong as they pick up 2 kills on the Avian and Bravo Dog, and those are the castles and the Goyos, mainly the people that you see on site. And we have Zoinker here who's off site. He can rotate back, and he's gonna try to hit a nitro, but he's gonna try to rotate through the basement, and it looks like there might be only one person on site to hold this down. So if they act fast, they can get this plan off. And S4 is just going to be holding the angle as Cry Magic here has to defend with all he's got. He has no more nitro, so if they hide behind something, he can't get the plant down or the denial down. But we're going to see Lackey here push into this closet. He's going to be the one to fight them. And Cry Magic is actually going to pick up one, but he gets taken down. And now there's no one on site. Zoinkers is going to rotate back, and the plant's going down. He picks up 1, 2 people left. He gets the planter, and that's going to be the round as he clutches up and takes out the planter. And Zoinkers is going to clutch around for biceps there by, drawing out the time and killing that planter.
Huge round from Zoinkers. I mean, really well played. Just clutching it at the end there. You're worried about coverage. I think if you're Nordic, you're taking that's a round that you can really dissect
For sure.
after the game and be like, okay, why wasn't somebody watching here? Why is this guy able to walk in and get 2 picks like that? Obviously, you can't blame that on the planter. He had to plant, otherwise the round would have just ended. So there needs to be better cover on him. And unfortunate that first guy couldn't win the gunfight. I don't know where the last guy was for Nordic, but that's the way the round ends, and that puts us at a 5-3 scoreline, another 2-round advantage favoring B&B. And as we edge ever closer to the end of this match, that 2-round advantage is going to get worse and worse for the French Canadians.
Yeah, if they weren't feeling it before, after that round, they're going to be feeling it now. The tensions might start to get a little high here as they're down by 2, and if B&B wins another one, they'll be on match point here. So I think Nordique really needs to just calm down and figure out what they need to do right and what they're doing wrong. In that last round, it came down to, I bet the comms were going pretty crazy. That round started to get pretty heated as 2 quick kills came out. They didn't know where the other 2 people were. There was a lot of face droning going on. So I feel like the comms were pretty hectic, and that's why you didn't see, angles being held and Zoinkers just being able to walk up and kill 2 people, including the planner. And, I think that just comes down to the round just being so hectic and crazy that Nordique didn't really have a sense of where people were and what was happening.
There have been a couple of rounds now where it could have easily gone either way, and then it just sort of slips in favor of B&B. I definitely don't think Nordic have been playing bad in this matchup at all. I think there's a lot of things they can be proud of in terms of their play today, but maybe this one's not going to go their favor. They still can can bring it back, and I shouldn't totally bury them just because they're down by 2. 5-3 is certainly recoverable. But the edge does seem to be in favor of B&B. They seem like the better team in this matchup. Not trying to say that Nordic have been bad at all, though. And again, it's long qualifiers, right? You can't just say, well, it's 1 game, come back next year. You've got a ton of matches to play, 45 in total if you survive the whole way through every single qualifier, which almost every team won't. But still, there's a lot of matches to be played, and well, we just get to watch one fantastic one here. Lackey almost able to hit the headshot onto Cry Magic, but amazingly just dances around his head and only manages to deal a bit of damage before having to back off.
Yeah, Lackey and Cry Magic having a little bit of a duel here, and I don't think we can count out Nordique just yet, as their roam clear has been pretty good, as they've been getting the first pick for a couple of the rounds here, and they've been holding their own weight until the end of the round, but they really need to focus up on getting into the site, getting the plants down, and just going in as a team and covering each other's backs.
A lot of these rounds on both sides now I've seen us go pretty late into the round before we see our first frag. Now Clutch opened up the doorway, maybe was going to engage with Cry Magic. He's going to rotate to the other angle, smartly dropping down because Cry Magic knows that he's getting pinched. He needs to flee from the situation, but actually the read from Clutch, if he goes downstairs, still hunting for this Vigil, wasting a lot of time from Cry Magic, but if he dies soon, could be all for naught. So far, staying alive with about 25 HP means he's going to be okay, and Clutch refocuses on the bomb site, so it's not going to be detrimental to the attack, but again, you're worried about time, as you seem to be this entire match, no matter what side you are.
Yeah, they really need to push in right now. They've got so many low players. Like look at Crymagic and look at Zoinkers like on that Jaeger. They're really low. So I think Nordique may know this and they may capitalize on this low roaming health. If they can, then they can get the round for sure. And we're gonna start seeing the utility come out as a gridlock. Just goes over the shield there. It's not gonna be able to affect Zoinkers there. On 1 health. If he steps in when he's done. So these roamers really need to kind of get back to sight or get a kill or, throw the body out there.
Trackstinger's really a problem as we see Crymagic try to come back to the fight. Can't really seem to do it at this sense. He needs to find a different place to rotate up from. Lackey's still fighting against the shield. He didn't manage to down it. Meanwhile, his teammates are getting kills. He's going to get one as well. It's a 4-on-3 just because of one of his squads went down. Equalizes, but everybody's down in a moment. Bird and Biceps, after a blink, take down the remaining players on Nordic, and they're going to take the lead extended to match point.
Yeah, what another crazy, aggressive, last-minute, fast-paced round coming out from Biceps. As we've seen it on both sides of the game, both teams, just getting like 4 or like 2 picks like right after each other rapidly at the end of the round. And we see Biceps do it there, and now they're on match point, going trophy, bringing that Goyo shield. It's worked so good for them, and just being able to hold their ground, especially on such low health. Like it's crazy to me how those roamers were still alive for a pretty big chunk of that round.
So now you're playing backs against the wall. Defenders can start to go kind of wherever they want. Not right now. Obviously, they're going to be able to play Trophy, and that's about it. But then Kitchen opens up again, then Aviator opens up again. So they're going to have options as this game continues. If they need to take it that long, of course, B&B can, and they can sort of flex to different bomb sites. What that means is Nordic obviously have to keep vigilant. They've got to worry about multiple different options, and that makes it tougher, obviously. Going down 6-3, now you're on the attack. Again, not going to be super favored. Not impossible, but we need to see some sort of a change-up. I want to see him speed up. Both of these squads now have seemed to be a little bit slow, and maybe it's just the way the band's played out. Maybe it's just partly due to Villa and the playstyles of the teams that we just see rounds go in a way such that people don't really die until the last 45-30 seconds, but I don't feel like that's the best way to find success as attackers. Obviously, you're putting a lot of chance when you have those hectic 5-on-5s in the last 30 seconds of the round. I get like there can be a little bit of strategy in there, and certainly gun skill is going to matter a lot, but at the end of the day, it's almost a coin flip who's going to win rounds like those.
They've been super close for sure, and they can, like you said, coin flip, either go one way or the other way. But with these teams right now, how they're playing, like it really can go one way or the other way. They both got such great gun skill. They both know how to roam. They both know how to get their kills, and I think capitalizing off of those picks and finishing it off when you have advantage is just going to be super key to ending this round here, as we see a couple of roamers here such as Bravo Dog and Crymagic playing really aggressive with rotates you don't usually see.
A little bit more aggressive we see both times that this bomb site's been played. 3 times, I should say. The attackers have done a little bit better, and that's going to be a bad start for them. Avian, TCSG 12 is able to find Delta, so that's going to be your sledge off of the board. Going to be some soft destruction, and obviously those frag grenades as well, no longer in play for the attackers. Got some information on the defense too. Clutch being spotted out as he walks towards 90. Now that's going to get called to the team, and the defenders can rotate, try to adapt to where Clutch might be coming from. So dangerous, especially if you lose your Habana. I know it's not the most crazy important thing on this bomb site, at least compared to something like Aviator Games Room, but still, you want to have that hard destruction. You want to be able to open things up from the master bedroom, and you can't really do that if Clutch is off of the board. So you're still a little worried. These Valkyrie cams doing so much work. The plants, that just seems to be the strategy here. You're finding everything.
Throwing them in the plants, these Velcams, they're giving them so much information here. They're down a player, and Zoinkers is going to go for a C4 here, and it's not going to land, but it doesn't matter because it's a 5-3 already. They're winning their gunfights. This might be, the end of the game here. It might be a 7-3 victory, but, Nordique still, they've got the support players up. They've got some pretty good gun skill on their side, so hopefully they can bring this one back and we get to see a little bit more action.
S4 has done really well in this match in particular. Skies, we've seen in previous tournaments, be a big player for his squad. We need a couple of these players to really step up for Nordic. You find yourselves in a player disadvantage, you spot out the Jaeger, so you've got some info onto Bravo Dog. You need to utilize that. Bravo Dog's actually just going to send it down through the skylight. He's going to be no longer on that bomb site, going to have to rotate back up if he wants to help his team out. Clutch is actually going to stand up and get the first kill for his squad. A headshot onto Zoinkers, so that's a good start. 20 seconds, and a Vulcan shield stops S4 in his tracks. That's going to be so deadly for him. Running through the toxic babes, he needs to. Inside of the bathroom, there's a challenger. You're worried about these defenders from all angles. Bravo Dog is actually here. Skies has managed to find a plant spot, but meanwhile, his teammates are all falling. He falls as well. It's going to be just S4. He's got no time at all, and that'll be the match. Burden Biceps take it 7-3. An impressive showing, I think, from Nordic. There were a couple of rounds that they could have taken, but ultimately, I think the better team took it today, and well done to Burden the Biceps. They continue 2-0 in these qualifiers.
Such a close game. A lot of those rounds came down to 5v5, and then it was quick succession kills. It can really go to any team there, and Biceps are pretty much more of a veteran kind of player team, and they might have some better gun skill, who knows, but they really did deserve to come out on top, and I think they played a really good game. They focused on what they needed to do wrong, and they fixed it by getting those kills near the end of the round. And as you saw there, they held it down, defense wise, really strongly, as they kept trying to come in and get a plant off, and they got the planter and they got the people trying to push in. I think they just did a really good job there at the end.
Well, folks, that's been 2 games of the night, 2 Canadian teams, one with a win, one with a loss. We've got one more coming up for you guys. Not for you, Toasty. I believe you are heading out for the night. Is that correct?
Yep. Peace and
Alrighty.
out after this one.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the stream. And
yeah, thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure casting these Canadian squads with a fellow Canadian caster. Guys, again, one more match. It's going to happen in about 20 minutes, so take that time, go get a break, but make sure you're back. We're going to see the last Canadian squad on our esports against whoever they may be playing against in the last match of the night. Stick around. That's coming up next.
out, and it's you I'll come for.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last match of the night, day number 1 of Qualifier 2 for North American Challenger League, season number 11. We're back following the Canadian teams. This time it's Honor Esports versus Kevin. My name is Jesse J. Chick. I'll be casting alongside Outcry, who is taking over for Toasty, as well as, of course, Creator still on that observation role. Welcome, Outcry, to the stream.
Well, thanks for having me, man.
Glad you could join us. We have hopefully a good game for you guys. It is going to be on Coastline. Of course, Honor Esports versus Kevin. It looks like Honor Esports will be starting on defense as we get into things. There's 9 players in the server, so we'll be starting pretty quickly here. But yeah, I mean I was about to say French team. They're not French anymore, are they? Honor Esports in the last Canada Nationals were a French roster. Now they've brought in a few English players, still all Canadian, and they've switched over to English comms. Obviously, you've been involved in the Quebec scene. You probably know a bit about these players. What can you tell us about the guys on Honor Esports?
I can tell you that they're all really talented players, and they're really nice as human beings. So that's a really good 5-stack. And we've known Maple, Phoenix, and Tac for their Canadian Nationals run with Ken's, I believe, and someone else. I don't remember. But it's a really promising team, and I can't wait to see them face against really good players here.
Yeah, Kevin's a pretty experienced team as well. Adam going to be probably their main star that people realize from Obey. Former Pro League player, of course, and a few like well-known-ish names on the squad as well. Exod, Faded, these might be names that you recognize. Iski as well is on this lineup. So for Kevin, it's not a bunch of nobodies. Certainly they should be able to put up a pretty good fight against Honors. You might think that they're going to be favorites in the matchup. Tough to say, really. I mean, especially at this level, it can be tough in the early days of the qualifiers. It can be tough to know who's the favorites a lot of the time. Both of these squads, I would say, somewhat well-known. Probably Kevin going to be the favorites in most people's minds, but Honor have that experience of, being maybe a full squad for a little bit longer than Kevin. Having that practice, having that organization can mean a lot to some players as well. So who knows? Especially a map like Coastline, maybe you would think favors Kevin a little bit more, just due to the fact that it can be a little bit more sort of run and gun, play however you want. We'll find out, though. We're getting into the match live right now. Again, this is going to be the last game of the night between Honor Esports and Kevin. We load into Coastline.
And fun fact also is that Exod was on Honor before.
Oh.
So
yeah, he's Canadian, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Very
From
interesting.
Montreal, so yeah. This should be oh. I think we started with
Is
the wrong
everything
settings.
broken? Everything is broken. Good. Well, we'll unbreak everything for you guys, and then we'll start things up again. So going to be a bit more of a break, I suppose, before we get into this match. Thankfully, it's the last game of the night, so there's not going to be any auto forfeits. We've been good about that so far in these qualifiers. I think all the matches have been pretty quick. There was one game last week that went 89 minutes. One more and they would have gone over. There was one rehost, and it was an 8-7 at the end final score. A game that I casted last week, and so we can have games go pretty long. And of course, if you are not the last match of the day, then you will get a forfeit automatically after 90 minutes is up. So it can be close, but thankfully we don't have to worry about that too much tonight. And we should be able to get players in the lobby pretty quickly. I mean, both these guys want to play; they want to get to bed as well.
Yeah, of course. But I'm pretty sure we're in for quite a run. I don't think it's going to be a 7-3, 7-4. I'd say a 7-5 or overtime.
I hope so. I always like to hope for overtime. Even on nights like these, it's nice being Western because games can go late and it's not too late. You gotta get to work early tomorrow, but I can sleep in a little bit just thanks to being over here on the west side of the province or in the country.
I'm still young. I can afford to lose some sleep.
There you go. We're getting back into things, though. I think every team is ready. Hopefully we have the right settings. With Honor Esports versus Kevin. Honor Esports starting on the defense. Getting going right now. Real hockey
fuck
game.
hockey, bro. Fuck that.
Hockey game. Talking about hockey, Canadians won.
Did they? They win tonight.
Yeah, 2-0 against Calgary.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
I remember, okay, this is very off topic, but I'm going to say it anyways. I was casting Flynn in the first qualifiers the same night the Oilers played the Leafs, and the Oilers won and Flynn lost, so it was a good day all around. Okay, let's look at these
Oh,
bands.
yeah. Gotta love those nights. It was worth all along.
What do you expect to see on Coastline?
You mean ban-wise?
Yeah, Blackbeard? Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, attacker's ban can be really up to... It's mostly what teams don't want to play against.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, hard Thatcher ban or things like that that we can see on other maps. Nomad makes sense. There's a lot of run out. And then on defense, pretty standard. I'm pretty sure we're going to see, like, Mira, Maestro, or Echo being banned. Maybe Valkyrie.
Yeah, especially on this map, I think you see a little bit more Valkyrie. Just because it can be a little bit looser. Mira. Good call, and then one more. Probably Echo. But then again, there's options. Maybe Goyo as well. I've seen a little bit of Goyo on Coastline. Not every bomb site. But Kitchen, I've seen him used on. And also Hookah Billiards, I've seen him used. So, there's definitely places where Goyo gets played. Maybe today, as he doesn't get banned.
Yeah. So Valkyrie makes sense. Both those operators are really good, boosting the win rates on every defense map, especially Mira. Mira basically makes Penthouse viable.
Mm-hmm.
Without Mira, it's something else.
First round, of course, Honor in blue, but they're going to start on the defense, and they're going to go kitchen service entrance. One nice thing about Coastline, first of all, it's a pretty balanced match, so attack defense doesn't typically sway too far one way or the other, but also I think the bigger thing is that for defense you can really go to a lot of different bomb sites, right? There's no like very set order that teams think, oh, this is the best, this is the next best, blah blah blah. You can go to almost any site, with the sort of exception of Penthouse Theater, when Mira's off the board, can be considerably weaker, but that's still 3 bomb sites you can cycle between and be pretty spontaneous, pretty unpredictable between all 3 of them.
Exactly, and you even see reciprocity picking Penthouse a lot. So even Penthouse can see play on this map, and there's no strategy. There's no real strategy involving like what site you want to pick first, as opposed to, for example, Consulate, where you want to mix things up. Coastline is pretty much random.
Don't know if it's helped Reciprocity too much. They did just now lose their match in Pro League. Sorry if you're looking for spoilers, but sucks.
No spoiler alerts.
The way we roll here on twitch.tv/JesseJChick. You know, as we load into this last match of the night, I do want to thank everybody for coming out. Again, it can get kind of long in these qualifiers, but it's always fun, particularly tonight when we make it a Canadian night, so we get to see all of the players that we've seen over the past couple of months in the Canada Nationals and other competitions. It's always fun to see.
Yeah, and do you know which one of the Kevin's players is Adam?
I don't know. He might not be playing tonight. I don't know. I don't have Adam added, so I can't check his tag. We'll just be going. I don't know if they have more than one. Let me double check on this, because they might have extra players on this squad. He might just be sitting out. Yeah, they have 6 players. Harley Yoshi, Alex Senpai. Yeah, he's not playing right now. Although he's on the roster.
Okay. So that might favor a little bit Honor that a really good player in the likes of Adam doesn't play right now.
2
really quick kills from Kevin's team.
That's not going to favor Honor, losing 2 players. That'll hurt them quite a bit. Especially the Maestro going down. I mean, the Castle's not too big of a loss, to be honest, but attack going down on the Maestro is going to be good gun off the board, good utility off the board, plant denial as well. This is a huge loss, and as these attackers start to move in towards the pool entrance, they have another defender corner, I should say, Phoenix off the board as well. It's been a perfect attack so far, and we're not even halfway through this round.
Exactly, really good pinches from Kevin, and I'm not exactly sure how the Maestro died. I'm not a big fan of Maestro getting out of position and roaming too much, and this is definitely not paying for Honor.
You've passed that halfway mark now. Maple playing it pretty safe. Kind of have to when all of your teammates have gone down and you're on the smoke. In a good position where you can use those smokes, but again, when you've got this big of a player disadvantage, you're really worried about getting flanked later on in this round. Darken as well, probably somewhere on the roam. I mean, might just be sitting back way inside of entryway. We do have the tactical crossbow being held by Alex. Exxon poking in through the lobby as well, so he's going to be taking on Darken, who's watching the back. Smoke Bolt comes in, and Darken moves his position, looking for somebody in the entryway. Can't find it, though. Iski, meanwhile, is going for that plant, and he will be able to get it down. Just as that timer ticks 45, it goes down now. This fire really hurting the defenders. They'll get one, but no more than that. Kevin secure it and go up 1-0 early.
Yeah, I think that round, the early picks were really what gave the round to Kevin, basically. The whole site was opened up in kitchen, so losing 2 to 3 players in the first minute and a half obviously was so hard for the remaining defenders to actually clutch a 2v5, especially against really good players.
And appreciate everybody who's worried in chat about the overlay and stuff. I am reading that. If there's any visual glitches or audio glitches, do let me know, because I'll deal with it. 4.5 minute delay, so it'll take a while, but eventually the stream will get fixed, and hopefully we can clean up this mess of a stream we're putting on right now. Also, the chat's getting a little French, which is totally fine. Feel free to chat away in whatever language you'd like, but don't expect super strict moderation, because I don't speak very much French, so that's I might have to rely a little bit on you, Outcry.
Yeah, I can translate to you.
Thank you. If anyone's being obnoxious, let me know. Well,
So here
Hookah
picking,
Billiards. Yeah. What do you think about
sorry,
this
what?
bomb site? Hookah Billiards, typically the secondary site for most teams, if not the primary, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies for this one. There's a lot of ways to attack it, honestly, and there's some different ways, some different adaptation, especially with Nomad out. You can basically play way more freely and try to flank or get out, try to apply as much pressure as you can as a defender onto the attackers. It's really important because this bomb site is very small. There's a lot of windows and crossfires that can be established, so you have to make sure that you spread out as much as you can and try to slow those attackers down.
So as we continue on with round number 2, again, that first round pretty disastrous for Honor Esports. Kevin kind of running away with it. A lot of that due to early picks they were able to get on the roam. Specifically, I'm remembering an isolation inside of the bars. I mean, being able to pinpoint these like lone players on Honor and go at them in like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1, that can be really, really huge for the guys over on Kevin. They did do it well in that first round. Hopefully we can see some adaptation from Honor. Maybe they're playing a little bit tighter together. Right now it looks like they've got 4 guys pretty close to the bomb site and then 1 pretty off site. So that's not too bad of a strat. As long as they can get their last guy back to site without dying. That's going to be the big thing here. You can waste time, get some kills, that'll be great.
Exactly. And they've already wasted more time than last round, so it's a win. 5v5 still with 2 minutes left. I like how Kevin's trying to just apply pressure from underneath because their droning was good enough so that they knew nobody was roaming downstairs as Phoenix gets the first kill on Exod on the roof. Was on the roof.
It could have been. Either way, that's going to be an attacker down, and I think you're pretty happy with that if you're Honor Esports. Exod, obviously a fantastic player, one that they should be pretty familiar with. Here's a good opportunity for Dark, and he gets 1 down. That's the Habana on the floor, but it's not going to mean anything if he can't get the second one, or at least finish off the Habana. He'll get the second down despite that firebolt, forcing him out of position. A brilliant play by Darkin on that Jaeger. Really well done, and now his team a huge advantage almost 2 minutes into this round.
Really good defense right now by Honor, and they're in a really good position to just delay that 45 seconds and prevent the enemy team from planning.
Still lurking around downstairs too. Darkin ready for more, however he's being watched. This run out could be disastrous for him. Yoshi, I believe that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Hourly Yoshi? I don't know. Here goes for the run out, and he's going to hit Darkin regardless of what his name is. He gets the down, knows he doesn't need to go for the finish off because you've got more players you want to deal with on those defender sides. Tak hits 1 hit shot onto Faded. Yoshi's there with his second kill again. He's going to need the ace if he wants to win this match. for his team. There's 3 still alive. Honor Esports taking round number 2, though. They're going to tie things up thanks to a shot from Kibbs, and Honor Esports again tied 1-1.
Yeah, and I don't mind this Jaeger aggression because he basically made Zofia look away from the bomb site for like 25 seconds until he got the kill. So basically wasted half of the time that was remaining on the clock before the plant. So it was actually a good play.
You like to see the smart aggression in particular. I think a lot of the times with these tier 2, tier 3 teams, you take a look at how they're playing and how they're getting aggressive, and you're like, okay, fine. It's not inherently bad to get aggressive, but when you're getting aggressive and why you're getting aggressive can be really even more important than the aim aspect of getting aggressive and going for these flanks. So, yeah, I think very well executed by Dark, and I'd agree. He's been a pretty old player in the French scene as well. Jumped around to a lot of different teams, but he's got that experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good pickup to Honor, in my opinion.
So now
His English is the weakest of the team, though. Some French accent is getting thrown in there sometime, but you know, everyone have a good chuckle, and he's a really good guy.
As long as he understands, right? If he's going for big plays, as long as his team can feed him the information, right? And he can frag. It doesn't really matter if he can speak.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the only language barrier in North America is basically English and French. Imagine Europe, where everyone has a bunch of
barriers, bunch of different languages. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can basically have a team that has 5 players that don't even their first language is not even the same.
Yeah, you've got 5 different first languages, and none of them are English, but they're talking in English because they all have like secondary languages of English.
Yeah, basically.
That can be a tough spot. We talked earlier, actually, me and Toasty, about how North America, you've kind of got the big pool of players that are all English, and that sort of gets one play style, and you've got these little pockets of like the French scene that develops a little bit differently, and then even the Mexican scene that develops a little bit differently, and sometimes you'll see players bleed over between those 2 scenes, or between those 3 scenes, but usually it's sort of like one big scene and 2 mini scenes, and it can be kind of different, or kind of interesting to analyze like the differences between all 3 languages inside of North America, and note how the different regions have developed in different ways.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of guys in all those communities actually prefer teaming up with people of the same language.
Mm-hmm.
It's way easier for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, people with the same language live fairly close to each other.
Yeah.
They're back to the game. 1 kill on each side. Honor getting back on kitchen. So like the alibi, little adaptation from last round.
Yeah, unfortunately died, but still the utility could get utilized. I mean, we shouldn't say that he's done nothing just because the operator's already dead.
Yeah, exactly. His decoys are still there.
A little bit of aggression coming from your attackers. They've taken control of the bars. Also that top floor mostly in their control. However, the defenders have just rotated up top, so now Honor kind of have a lot of pressure on this top floor. They can use this vertical pressure to their advantage. Could be something good for them. Maybe coming down Cool Vibe stairs and a bit of a late flank can really stall out this push. I'd like to see that from them. Already, as you talked about, this is a little bit better than the first round where they defended this bomb site, where they lost 3 players really early. They've got 4 players still alive, so you can do stuff like that. You can throw guys upstairs late, and they can have a lot of impact when these attackers start to push into the bomb site.
Yeah, exactly. The vertical play on that side is really good. And like I said earlier, it's really important as defenders to fan out as much as possible and try to slow those attackers down. And then Kevin was really good at analyzing, like, getting the intel that Blue and Sunrise was empty. But after that, Honor is all on the top floor and trying to set up a plant with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, they're getting in now. Obviously, Yoshi taking a bunch of damage as he runs forward, but he's still alive, and that's really all that counts. They can get in position for a plant. Darken falls, and that's going to be one more defender that can't stop this. There goes the one more player. Iski with the double kill, and now it's going to be all on Kiev to stop this. He can't stop the plant, which means he needs to kill 4 players. He's being shot at from the side as well. Needs to enter back into the bomb site. He's going to have a lot of angles to watch. This first kill is going to be the easiest. He'll hit it. No. Oh, not quite. Eventually, blinded. Finds the player on the floor. Yoshi's going to be his next target. got a player coming from behind as well as Exod eventually with the pistol to finish off his fellow Canadian, and Kevin take the lead once more.
Yeah, I'm not sure I caught quite everything that what happened just there. I think that maybe the defenders from upstairs didn't really have all the angles needed to stop the plant from going through, so they had to come back on the main floor and try to get kills from doorways, and that's obviously not in a position that you want to be in.
I still kind of like the setup though, right? You've got people upstairs, you've got people in the bomb site. I kind of like the theory where that's coming from, even if the execution wasn't 100% nailed down. They're going to try it again. I mean, credit to them. I think that's probably the right call just because their strategies weren't too bad on kitchen service entrance. Like, it's just going to be like nailing down your roamers staying alive, because that's been their big problem, at least in my eyes, the 2 times that they failed to defend this bomb site.
Yeah, I feel like this time though it was like a 4v4 until the last 20 seconds, but then I think Kevin just executed better. So maybe this time trying to get those picks and maybe get a little bit more aggressive, create a 4v3 or 4v2 for the defenders. But so far Kevin is doing a really good job. The first time they were able to just get the roamers and plant, and then this time they didn't even get the roamers, but they still planted. So it was a really good use of Capital's smoke and Zophia's utility to get the plant down. Really well played on their part.
Definitely interesting to note that the 2 rounds that have been won by Kevin on the attack have also been the 2 rounds where they've managed to plant the diffuser. So we'll continue to watch as they get these next 3 attacks down, if they manage to get the plants down, and if those continue to lead to successes. Again, from Honor, you have some of this top floor presence, and I like that. It's going to be Phoenix on the Vigil this time, as well as Kib on that Legion. So you've got a little bit different operator choice, but certainly not a bad switch up. Phoenix, if you can waste a lot of time on this Vigil, be a little bit more elusive, that could be the difference maker. Again, you're a little worried that maybe the attackers just ignore him, and then that Vigil utility not quite as effective as it would be if they were really trying to hunt you down with a lot of those drones. But hey, I mean, whatever you got to do, change things up. I'm not gonna hate it till it fails, just like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not exactly sure why Honor just tried to stick it with a 3rd kitchen defense, but so far Kevin still has the advantage with it pretty much the same attacking lineup. I mean, without the operator lineups.
Yeah, I mean, Darken off of the board is going to be another one of those aggressive ops, right? The Jagger no longer going to be in play for Honor Esports. They're going to have to work without him. Thankfully, a little bit more of an expendable operator, so hopefully you're not too worked out with that. But he's been big so far in this matchup, and one of the main causes that they won that round number 2. So somebody else on this team is going to have to step it up. Perhaps it'll be Maple. Going to be holding things down. Probably not going to find himself in an engagement right away here, just because these attackers haven't cleared out a lot of those roamers. But again, they could, right? They could just go for this plant, and we've seen them do that before. They've been very effective at getting that plant down. The use of the Capitao has been really, really good, I've seen. Already they're starting to waste some of these ADSs. If that smoke bolt goes out, you know that plant's happening, and it's going to be really tough to try to get through without it.
Exactly, with Sophia and Capital still up, definitely there's a plant threat. And Exod, I don't know if he still has nades, but he still has a lethal, you know, or a way to slow the defenders down, trying to take Kitchen back. But good kill, sorry, from Gibbs.
Yeah.
Evening things out.
Up top on that roam, looks like Tack also going to fall thanks to a double kill coming out. So this has not been too bad from either squad. 3 players down inside of the server as we hit that 40-second mark. Kib's still upstairs, and this pressure from up top has been more or less successful. You've lost 2 already. Iski's got a goo mine in his foot, and he's going to have to take that down before he deals with them. Here come those smoke bolts, so that's what I was talking about. Yoshi with another one on a Maple, running in, finally gets shut down by Phoenix, and there's a double kill from Phoenix, but he also gets traded, jumping out inside of the courtyard. There's Kibs with a kill. It's a 1-on-1 already. Faded holding that diffuser. 15 seconds to go for the plant or find the kill. That firebolt gonna fade. Finds himself a nice position to plant. Really going to be very difficult for Kibs to rotate. It's going to make a lot of noise through his own barbed wire, but he might just do it. He has the time, and he's going to be able to get the kill. The plant happens, but it doesn't seem to matter. Kibs will even things out for Honor Esports, and we go 2-2.
Yeah, amazing play by the visual player. I think it was Phoenix. Really clutch 2 kills, and then Kibs coming back. Clutched around. It was really good. Well, at least they got Kitchen out of the way.
True.
So we're
We won't see another Kitchen, at least from
for at
from
least
Honor.
2 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. We'll get the side swap, and perhaps we'll see Kevin play it out. Probably we'll see Kevin go to Kitchen at some point, unless they just have a real hatred of that bomb site. But no, probably for now we won't see Kitchen for a little while. I would agree that probably Kibbs staying alive for a long time on that roam was important, and knowing to retreat when he did was really huge. Catching the player vaulting out into courtyard, that was huge for Kibbs to make it into that 1v1. And then the knowledge to push when he did was pretty big too, because there was no guarantee that guy was going to stick to plant. I mean, Faded could have gotten off and could have taken that gunfight, in which case it would have been the proper call from Kibbs just to hold back and not go for that. But he decided to push. It was the right call. Really well done by him. It can be tough, especially in those like really high pressure moments, to know what the right call to make is. And you can tell it's an experienced player when they're not shaken by the high stress situations like that one.
Exactly, and maybe with the Maestros, he got the call that the diffuser was getting planted for a while. Like, it was like 70% through, so you most likely gonna try to stick it when you're that close to getting the diffuser down.
Mm-hmm.
And something else I want to add is that I like Kevin's playstyle right now. They're really decisive on their push. Their drone is really efficient. Their roam cleaner is really efficient, and their plant exec is really good. And it kind of throws. I feel like for the first rounds, it kind of threw Honor off guard. And like for the 2 next rounds, it will be important to see if Honor can actually adapt to that style, and if Kevin can actually do the same for the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, I totally agree. The planting's been a huge focus for Kevin, and they've been very good at it so far. That's 3 rounds out of the 4 where they've at least attempted that plant. Round number 2, they didn't get quite that far, and an early pick from Exod will shut me up. Darken eating a headshot. That's going to be the 2nd round in a row where he's a very early pick on that Jaeger, so you're a little concerned from Honor. That's twice in a row. Obviously, he's got the whole game to try to make up for it, but if those roam plays aren't working out, that could be a bit of a disaster. Credit to Exod on that Ash. Maybe he was just better that time, though.
Yeah, exactly. It might be unfortunate picks, but definitely not in Honor's favor. But the good kill from Tack here, evening things out. The Ash is out. It's a 4v4. Always good to be in the equal numbers situation.
Yeah, you get the revenge kill, which is nice. Big gun, some fire extinguished from Exod, so you don't have to worry about him spiraling out of control. You've still got 4 attackers to work with. Izzy almost throws his life away and makes it 3. Tack was holding down that trigger on the Alda, but unfortunately he's going to get droned out and have to interrupt his reload. It's been like a very fast aqua take and then just a halt from the guys on Kevin, right? You can tell that they're comfortable getting there, but once it actually goes to the bomb site, that's where they've been struggling. And another great kill from Tack. It does get traded out again, though, so the trades have been really strong from both squads in this round. Puts us to a 3-on-3, but this has been a close one. It's tough to say who's going to come out on top from here.
Yeah, I was about to say that as long as Zofia and Capital are up, it's a really good advantage for the attackers. But Zofia's been taken out by Tack, and Kibbs is in a good position to slow the push down. So we'll see how Kevin tries to approach it. Kind of split right now. They were going for an Aquarium push, and there's one guy flanking Hookah.
Yeah, this is a little bit dangerous. The smoke bolt's obviously coming out. Typically will signal a plant, and it will again. Alex planting pretty far aggressively. Iski's in getting kills as well. His teammate falls, though. Iski with a double. Now just needs his planter to go down, but he won't from below. Actually, it's going to get stopped thanks to Kibbs. He's going to have to clutch it again. Iski can pick up this diffuser. He's got 15 seconds. It's exactly the same situation we saw last time. He's going to go for this plant. Will Kibbs stop him mid-plant once again? He's got that almost complete. Kibbs pushes, but he gets off of it this time. The headshot from Kibbs comes in huge, and it feels like I just watched the exact same round twice in a row.
Yes, exactly. Kevin trying to capitalize on the aggression here. Hibana just running through the site, getting the picks, but when it came to planning, I don't know if they had a maestro on the plant or something, but obviously Kibbs knew what he was doing, and twice in a row we've seen a Legion clutch.
Man, Kibbs he's a clutch master, I guess. Credit to him. He's clearly feeling it this game. He gives his team the first lead that they've had all game. And with it, they'll head to a new bomb site. The first time they've moved off of Kitchener Hookah because they have to. It is going to be Blue Bar Sunrise Bar. Maybe could signal that they're not super comfortable on a huge range of bomb sites. But whatever the case may be, since they've won 2 bomb sites in a row, they're forced to go here.
Yep, exactly. And if they can, like, that's the round they have to go nuts and try to bring it to 4-2, because this is going to be a really comfortable position for them to just try and close things out. I think that the way Kevin has been playing right now is not necessarily advantaging them on defense. So we'll see here if Kevin is able to go into their defense half 3-3, or Honor will be able to get the advantage 4-2 and try to close things out on attack.
Honor are definitely a strong team. We saw in the very first qualifiers, they got 18th, tied with a bunch of different teams. They sit on the leaderboard in 18th place with 2 points, which is not too bad. Kevin, I didn't write down where they're at. They're not going to be in the top 16, which means they either did as good or worse than Honor in the last qualifiers. So something to think about continuing on into this matchup. These are both teams that have potential, aren't currently sitting in closed qualifier spots, but certainly can jump up there. Usually you're looking for around like 20 points will get you in at a minimum to the closed qualifier. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depends on how the qualifiers go, but certainly there's been some progress from both these squads so far, and you're looking to get more points.
There's still 3 qualifiers left of this one, so 5 qualifiers is a lot of matches to get in the top 16. It's definitely a good start for Honor.
You can tell that they really want to make it into CL. It's for a lot of these teams. It's like it's not out of the question, but it's also not likely in most people's eyes, right? I wouldn't call them the favorites to make CL, but I wouldn't also call it impossible.
Exactly. Every team I know in this community wanted to grind Challenger League, and they've been doing it for a while. And I think that especially Quebec scene is really strong right now with Nordic and Honor. It's probably the best chances at a Frenchie team to make it the Challenger League in this qualifier.
Way back in like season 1, there was a Pro League Quebec team, wasn't there? Way back.
Oh, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was like Frenchie or something. The whole.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way.
Old school Quebec squad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ways back.
Maybe LB. Maybe I think LB was in there, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Way back in the
You
day.
might be right.
Wow, Dark End with a free opportunity to get 2 picks. Can he get both of them? He got 1. He wasted his whole clip. Now comes out the P12 looking for this final player through the soft wall. Doesn't actually get it. He'll get down, and that's a huge unfortunate play. Yoshi comes out on top for that frag. Now you've got just 2 players alive left on both sides. Make it 1. Yoshi gets his double and tack all alone. Thankfully, though, Capitau's been down, and it's an easy finish off. He gets his own double. One of these players will end this round with a triple kill. 40 seconds on that clock. Tack, does he know where this Zofia is, though? I don't think he does. Watching the wrong angle. He can pop that ERC7. There goes in the lifeline from Zofi. And that's going to be all it takes. Walks on in, and Kevin tie things up. We're going to a 3-3 split. We've got a game on our hands.
Yes, it was a bloodbath. Honor was able to slow the attack down for like a minute and a half, and then for the next 45 seconds, it was basically everyone shooting everyone, and Darkin losing. Actually, Zofia played that really well on that 1v1, and Jaeger was left with his pistol trying to grab the kill, and really well played. And the yet again with Zofia winning the 1v1. So really good on Kevin's side to go into the defense half 3v3, 3-on-3.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, both these teams looking relatively equal at the start, as you mentioned. Just due to the plants, it looked like it was maybe going to be a bit of a game for Kevin, right? Maybe they're going to run away with it. But Honor have done a really good job, I would say, of battling back. And I honestly couldn't call this match at this point in time. I couldn't even say a favorite. The Lion being brought out from Tack. Now, how do you feel about this operator? Because a lot of teams are pretty mixed on it. It feels like he was like gone in the meta for a long time, but I've seen a lot of teams experimenting with him. It's almost like Lion's coming back.
Yeah, I like it in those closed site. When you're in aquarium and you want to plant into hookah, obviously a line is really good to just pin the defenders where they're at. So yeah, but I don't mind seeing a line here. I can't wait to see how it's going to be used. Is it going to be used to pinch the roamers on the other side towards penthouse or something like that, or is it just going to get used to get the plant down as safely as possible?
Got a lot of this like post-plant measures being brought, right? The Lion, obviously, the Gridlock as well can be really good for the post-plant. Some good guns on Darken as well, as Maple can bring the frags when he needs to after that the wall's been opened up too. So yeah, I kind of like this a lot. You don't have a ton to deal with those castle barricades. Obviously, it'd be nice to have something like a buck in this situation, but I don't think they're going to be too hurting from it. Worst case, you get X Kairos hit, but you also have some probably breaching rounds, and obviously the Ash can do some damage to those castle barricades as well. So there's options, even though you don't have everything worried about. And look at this bullet hole from Exod. That's a dirty way to die if he gets something from that.
Yeah, that is pretty cheesy. That's something you would see in rank and make you quit for the night. So we'll see if we can grab a kill from there. Again, like I said earlier, Nomad being out obviously helps the defenders trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to slow the attackers down. And still a 5v5 with a minute, 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, we're getting down there, close to that minute and a half mark now. Not a lot of movement from Honor. It's been a bit slow. You can hear those X-Kairos being shot out now. This roof control is nice. You can put some pressure on those angles, sort of stop the defenders, but really that hasn't been the biggest issue for them. It's kind of being open things up. We see the first EE1D get utilized, and Tack fires on into the bomb site, hoping he can find somebody getting caught off because of that ERC-7, but there's no luck there. It's Exod to find the first shot onto the Lion. Means we're not going to see any more of those charges go down. Exod just runs through the track stingers. He's made himself a little bit of a path, and you can try to find a new angle to take another engagement in. It's been strong defenses so far.
Exactly. I think the Honor just made the bargain that they were Kevin was about to roam on Penthouse and VIP, and that was actually not the case. So they used one Lion trying to get closer to the site, and unfortunately Lion got picked up by Eager as they were roaming downstairs. So here we see Honor trying to get the plan down with roamers downstairs, all 5 defenders up, and no Capital actually on hand. So it's going to be
oh, great shot.
Really good shot by Maestro.
Yeah, that was a really good shot on a Maple through the smoke. Exod with the second one as well takes down Phoenix. You've only got 2 attackers left alive. Kiev and Dark getting the last 2 players, and they've been big so far in this matchup, but I don't know if they've got a 2-on-5 on them. That's definitely a tall task to ask of these Canadian players. You do have the diffuser downed. It's in a decent spot if you want to pick it up and immediately go for that plant. This time really starting to fall, though, through the bullet hole. Alex is going to find his second kill of the round. You've got 1 player left alive. It's Kibbs in the back line getting some frags. It's actually way downstairs. He doesn't have time to get that diffuser. It will be another round going in favor of Kevin, and so Kevin going to take it 4-3, takes the lead back. Been very back and forth between these 2 squads. It's only been 1 round, but Honor seemed to have a little bit of trouble attacking here.
Yeah, I feel like it was I remember Fabian telling in an interview that sometimes you just lose rounds because your strategy gets countered immediately. For example, it was a case in Consulate where they were heavily defending admin, but the attacking team pushed on the other side. So at some point, you just get countered, and there's nothing more you can do. And I feel like this is what happened here. Honor was set up to really pinch roamers on the second floor and make their way to Aquarium, but since they didn't get any pick and they didn't use their Lion to pinch the roamers, and the roamers were downstairs, they had like a minute left to try to get the plant, and there was a lot of utility left on Kevin's side, so they just played their outs well, and they won the round.
Impressive stuff. We come into round number 8, and we are seeing another Goyo get used here for the kitchen defense. Kind of like this. You can see him put a couple up just there inside of the bomb site, 1 on the entryway, and then 1 watching the main kitchen window that people like to jump into. So like the 2 areas where you're going to walk in for a plant, other than like the main doorway inside of kitchen, you kind of got those covered. And you can put another one maybe on the roam or something.
Definitely, it can, as much as it can slow a push, it can actually slow a plant. So the way they're set up right now is really good. So Honor's gonna have to be really effective on their attack if they want to make sure they have enough time to either plant or um, kill everyone. I like this setup from Kevin.
We'll see if this manages to delay enough time. Iski's, after putting all those up, has gone on a pretty far roam using that Vector. Always a bit of a discussion with Goyo which primary you want to bring out. I think the Vector can be quite good, especially if you're not so comfortable with the TCSG, right? This is definitely a safe option if you know that you really just don't like that single shot shotgun that he brings otherwise.
Yeah, it's not everyone that can use it. I really like the Vector. Vector's a really good weapon. Especially on a map like Coastline again, that there are some long angles, but most of the time, see here in servers, he has he's in office is pretty. He's most likely to get a short range encounter, which is favoring the Vector.
So about a minute, and again, it's been slow from Honor. I'm a little worried about the speed of these attacks. You're starting to drone into this top floor now. Again, Exod with an opening. He really needs to be shut down. You found him through a window, and you got him cornered, so this should be a kill from Dark End. At least you should be able to pinch him and not let him escape. Oh no, but he's going to run away, and he will survive. He's got Yoshi with him as well, so this is really, really bad. He's going to hide behind that bar, and the Lesion's going to back off to maybe help out somebody farther away. Kibbs is looking for some footprints to catch up a rotation, but his angle is being washed as well. This roam just seems like it's caught Honor Esports out on a loop, and they can't really deal with it.
Exactly, and I think that's again kind of unfortunate. Like their strategies pretty much get the second floor. They had none of the Kevin's players up there. Everyone was roaming on the first floor in blue and office and main lobby. So here again, Honor getting picked up and having only a minute to push. Exod's playing out of his mind right now.
This looks pretty much impossible. Attacking Maple, 45 seconds, about half HP already gone on Maple, make it all of his HP. As you talked about, Exod, fantastic play so far. 3 kills in the round. Yoshi will get the last one as well to make it flawless for Kevin. They get a 2-round lead, the first 2-round lead that we've seen all game long. Pushes them all that close to match point.
Exactly, and I feel like Kevin just knew that their win condition was planting the bomb, basically. So they're really good at executing. So their droning phase was used to know where Honor was not. So they were pushing the clear spots of the map and trying to get the exec down, which worked like 2 or 3 times. As opposed to Honor, they want to pinch roamers, but they're pushing where there's no roamers. So I feel like this is definitely advantaging Kevin. They have a really good setup, and seems like Honor is like wasting a minute or a minute and a half by themselves, trying to push somewhere that there's no roamer.
I feel like shutting down Exod's going to be huge here. Maybe they've thought that as well. You can see there's a fair amount of anti-roam being brought out. Obviously, the gridlock's going to make it a lot harder to flank if you know already that they're going to be coming up from behind you. Also, Kib on that Jackal. Pretty much the primary operator you bring when you're really struggling with roamers. Typically, you'll see him on bigger maps, but I've definitely seen him before on Clubhouse, and it's not a bad map for Jackal by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm very interested to see if they're gonna put like a lot of resources specifically towards Exod and whoever else might be roaming with them hourly or whoever it might be, because he's been really big thorn in their side both of these defensive rounds.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure if they're bringing gridlock for her smoke or for actually her utility. And I'd like to see either the use of Jackal to get Exod out of his position, or to actually leave Exod where he is doing his own thing and using gridlocks to slow him down coming back to the objective.
Right now, Exod is... Where do we have Exod playing somewhere? Is he upstairs? No, he's not. He's all the way back in like entryway, perhaps in the bathroom. So he's pretty far off on a roam, but he's not playing that top floor. This is what you were talking about earlier, right? There's nobody really roaming on that top floor, yet that's where the attackers are spending all their time. They're worried about somebody who might be up here, and sure, maybe somebody's going to flank later on in the round, but right now there's nobody up here that you need to worry about. And I think right now Honors are starting to get a feel for that they can kind of control this top floor. But again, it's taken them a little bit of time to realize that this is all free for them.
Yeah, but smoke being down, I'm not exactly sure from where.
Above, probably.
And again, on this specific side, I don't mind Honor pushing top floor because there's a lot of verticality that can be used here. So even if there's no roamer, they can actually get picks like right now. Really good double kill from Darkin.
Yeah, that's brilliant coming out from him. 2 quick headshots, takes down the smoke who's already low, and then Hourly as well, being blown to pieces. So you've got just 3 more to find. Already holding these cool vibe stairs. Now, Exod was up here, and he's again going to be the menace of this round, finding Darkin, shutting down his 2K. You're now worried about the rest of these defenders also falling apart, right? You've already lost 1 attacker. Now Phoenix from up above is starting to do a little bit of damage with Exod on the receiving end of that. He's got a grenade to deal with, but he's got that ADS, thankfully for him. Tack on the other side of this window, can't quite find the angle he's looking for. Exod's on the other side of it, has a bullet in his back, but he still survives and wins the gunfight. Iski is there. How do you keep winning those? Good night. Tack is gone, and you've equalized the numbers. This is so deadly.
I'm not gonna lie, this was a good night situation.
Yeah, that was good.
It was a really good shot from Smoke. Even in things out 3-3, so it started out 5-3 for the attackers, but we're seeing Kevin just coming back. And 45 seconds, they have to plant, and there's really good angles being held by Kevin right now.
Roamers just continuously derail a plan of Honor Esports, and they've struggled so hard here. Exod moved more over to an anchor position thanks to his anchor operators going down. Alex able to find a shot onto Kibbs, puts the player advantage back in favor of Kevin. 25 seconds. Pings come out for the defenders. Looks like Alex is almost able to find somebody. Somebody's in through the window. Last person in pool entrance. They win their first gunfight. Maple, can he also get the plant down? 15 seconds. He's being watched by an Evil Eye. He needs to destroy that, but he can't quite do it. He knows that he's got players pushing him. It's Iski on the other side of things who will hit the headshot. Kevin take round number 9, extend their lead 4 in a row, puts them on match point.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I think there was some utility missing, maybe from Honor's side. Like we saw Kevin attacking with smokes and capitals and being really efficient with flashes and stuff. With in a 5v3 situation, especially with top floor control, I think it was a really good 3v5 clutch from Kevin, picking up kills, especially that kill from Smoke, getting a nice headshot through the window.
I think another big thing that it's hard to notice, right, for Iski, when your roamers are out there getting all the frags, the round's over before like the smoke and the anchor operators can really get into it. It's hard to really know how good your smoke can be on the SMG-11, but that round it showed. Iski with that honestly pretty terrible gun in the SMG-11 really utilized it well. 2 very clean headshots. Both of the kills that he got were, I believe they were both first bullet. If not, it was very close to that. So I mean, that shows some real skill with a weapon that, again, a lot of players can struggle with. It's got a small magazine size, the recoil is not great. SMG-11 is just not a gun that a lot of people love to play with. But there's a few players that really can make it work despite its drawbacks. So I think that was really impressive by Iski to get those last couple kills.
Yeah, it really is. It was a really good kill because he killed the guy outside the blue window, which was cutting rotations. So once they knew that this guy was dead and trying to plant, Honor was trying to plant in Sunrise, they were just able to rotate as much as they could. And I think the smoke actually rotated from blue window outside and into inside Sunrise and got the final kill. So they were just free to roam after that kill, and it was really important for Kevin.
Phoenix maybe not loving the position he was at. Of course, looking in, he's just going over to get that castle barricade. Fair enough. You brought a little bit more to deal with those castle barricades on the side of Honor Esports, so you're not too sad about that. Exod in his familiar position inside of the bars, looking out through that window with a couple of bullet holes. Again, he's been utilizing those quite a bit. I mean, both teams have on this map, right? You kind of got to use those bullet holes. It's pretty much the way you play on a lot of these sites on coastlines, so fair enough. It's the way it's got to be sometimes. A lot of this top floor being taken over pretty quickly by Honor Esports, the bomb site on this map, or on this floor as well. Again, though, I'm worried about Exod, and he's got Hourly with him. Iski's coming down in a position to join them if they do so require. And you've got 2 strong anchors up on that bomb site. So, again, it's going to be the roam for me. If those can shut down Honor pretty quickly here in the next minute or so, then we're probably done for.
Exactly. I'd like to see Honor just go faster on those pushes. Again, if they're bringing a lot of utility to pinch the roamers, but they're not pinching roamers, then they should try to get as fast as possible towards the bomb site, and then use a lion like this, like right now.
Attack pop in that first charge off doesn't manage to get a whole lot, but at least lets them rotate a little bit safer, so you can be sure that you're not going to get pushed in those few seconds while that line is going off. So that's something that you can be safe with. You've still got some information too. That drone doing a lot of work finding that smoke. If you can open up maybe those walls behind them, if you have any more X-Kairos, that could be something big for you. Otherwise, just letting your squad know where those players are at can be really, really big here. Last EE1D getting utilized, firing through that soft wall, trying to find a shot. Looks like he'll hit the headshot onto Alex, but he does get traded off. Those smoke bolts just a little bit too much, I should say, to talk to Babes. Yeah, Hourly with another kill, though, finds the head of Kibbs. You now just increase that man count. Only 2 players alive to keep Honor Esports in this match. They need to rely on Darken and Maple. They've been big in this match so far. They got to go pretty big to hold on, and that's going to be a long angle lost from Exod. Darken actually holding the off angle, able to take the head off of him. 30 seconds, now you got to get on in and get this plant down. Maple with so little health, holding that diffuser. Still smoke on the other side with a couple of toxic babes. No, none in his pocket, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Maybe some of those Legion mines, though, would be something that you're worried about. So always keep that in mind. Down below is where he's playing from, so you've got to go a little bit wide. Darken is there, winning another gunfight. He's been big. That F2 really, really working for him, but Faded takes down Darken. Now you're all going to rely on Maple, and he can't do it. Faded is there. Some more SMG-11 action. Send Kevin the victory.
Yeah, really nice defense on the side of Kevin. Using their utility to slow the attackers down, and Legion was actually playing downstairs exactly like Kibbs was doing. But seems like Honor wasn't able to get him out of his position, and it was impossible for Honor to plant as long as that Legion was down there. So GG's to Kevin, really, really, really well played on their defense half, and they were able to tie things up in their attack round and then just snowball their defense.
GG guys, good luck.
Great game between those two squads. Again, Honor Esports versus Kevin. It will go towards Kevin. Both those teams were 1-1, so now, of course, Honor Esports ended the day 1-2. Not fantastic. Kevin ended 2-1. That's certainly a little bit better. And that's it for the night. Of course, Monday night, the very first night of these qualifiers. We got 2 more nights, Tuesday and Wednesday for Qualifier 2, and then Qualifiers 3, 4, 5, all throughout the rest of the month and onwards. There's going to be a ton of action. So if you like what you see, do go ahead and follow that channel. Again, thank you so much, Outcry, for joining me on this last matchup. Really a pleasure
thank you for the
cast with you.
invite.
No,
It was the first time, and I hope it's not last.
Oh, me too.
I had a lot of fun.
Me too, especially if English not your first language. You could hardly tell. You did fantastic. Certainly.
Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
A million times better than I would be casting in French. Let me tell you that. So.
Maybe next time we can cast one in French. You can practice your French.
Je suis Jesse, and then I'll leave it to you.
Oh. Okay, solo casting in French then.
Basically is what that would be. Yeah.
Just with Jesse doing the intros and the outros.
More or less. Oh god, well, we'll send it off for tonight. Thank everybody for watching. I'll link some Twitters down below as well of the 3 guys who got here, Outcry, myself, and Creator on Observations, as well as Toasty, who was here casting the first 2 matches. He went to bed though, but yeah, so thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you tomorrow for day number 2 of the qualifiers. This channel will be on a little bit late. We're going to skip that first match because I've got stuff to do, but we'll be back at, that'll be 8:30 Eastern PM for these qualifiers to continue. Don't miss it. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.